You guys are all muted. Yeah,
Fucked that up so bad.
No!
That was so horrible. It's all right. Take
everyone's
two.
muted.
Take two. Cali Death Podcast, episode 79.
What's going on, y'all? We are back once
What's
again.
up?
Cali Death Podcast. Sunday, midday, right up in your face at lunchtime, dude. And we are here with a very, very special guest. Also, with me, we're missing Joseph today. We're gonna be missing Casey soon, but right now I got two of my resident homies, Casey and Joel. What up, y'all?
Hello.
Hello. And
What up?
Hello.
we have been trying to get this going for a long time. He was on our list right in the beginning when we started this. We were like, definitely got to eventually get a Paul Ryan episode, and here we are. We finally got it, dude. What's going on, Paul?
Oh, not much.
Muted?
Thanks for having me.
Oh, there you go.
I'm here. I can hear you.
Yeah,
Okay,
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
got
you're
you
good.
now, yeah. Yeah, dude. Paul Ryan from
How you
Oregon,
guys doing?
Good, dude.
Good.
Great.
man.
I'm
Yeah,
see you,
finally.
super stoked that you're finally on, dude, because, you know, I always thought about it like this, like Origin has always been known as a, you know, Kansas-based band, but I don't know how many of your fans actually know that you've been living out in the Bay for a few decades now, right?
Yeah, just over 2 decades. I mean, some know, but I don't think it's common knowledge.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm bringing that up is because, like, you were here with us when the Cali Death thing was popping off. You know, we were all at the same shows together. Like, Paul was always at the Pound, and I, you know, I never really thought of you as somebody who was from out of state because I've just known you ever since you lived here. You know, but it's really cool that we finally get to, you know, dig into the origin of Origin and dig into your, you know, legacy and life. So thank you so much for being with us finally, dude.
Oh, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be associated with this, and
yeah.
you know, we've shared the stage together and tours and had lots of good times together. So I'm very honored to be here. So thank you.
Hell yeah. And I'd
Oh,
love
yeah.
to get into some of that too. But first, let's plug away. You got tours coming up. I know you guys got merch, all that kind of shit. Let's hear all that stuff, Paul.
Basically, I flew out Friday. I got here early Saturday morning, and we're just getting ready to rehearse. We're rehearsing for the upcoming tour. It's a two-part tour it's one tour for us, but it's a two-part tour for the openers and support bands. We're touring with Wolf King, Wake, and Misery Index. That's primarily from No Coast America up to Canada and down the Atlantic coast around the Gulf to Texas. And then I think we do like some crazy show, like festival with Hypocrisy. And then we join on to the second part of the tour with Abysmal Dawn, Tunes, and Killers. And that's primarily Central Coast up the West Coast and Western Canada. And back to it finishes in our old stomping grounds of Lawrence, Kansas at the legendary Bottleneck. I'm so stoked to play there again.
Hell
It's been a
yeah.
long time.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. May
What about-
31st, San Diego. I'll be there.
Yeah, dude. I saw the Frisco date on there too. I want to go for sure.
Yeah, it's I've never been to that establishment yet. It used to be called Mighty. It's more like a DJ place, but it looks really nice. I don't know. The promoter there really wants metal bands, and your brethren are playing there. I think the second metal show ever, and Decrepit Birth, maybe a month later.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Fuck yeah. That's awesome. man.
Anywhere people can go get some Origin swag. You got a band camp and all that kind of shit.
Oh man, I'm the worst at that. I mean, if you go to Origin Band on our Instagram or Facebook, there's a link tree with all that stuff there. Our website information, indie merch has our stuff, but we'll have merch. Obviously, we'll be the city to city, state to state, country to country salespeople that we are, the death metal salespeople that we are when you're on the road.
Totally, dude.
We'll have we have So it's oddly, we were on tour. I had the best 2020 ever until we did the 70,000 tons of metal boat cruise in January of
hell yeah.
2020. And then we did a Central. I mean, that was insane week. And we went to Cozumel, Mexico, and had the world's largest maritime pillow fight on a. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then we did a Central to South America tour in February of 2020 with the Faceless. And we did like Mexico, Costa Rica, Peru, Colombia, Chile, Brazil. We were actually in Brazil during Carnival. And,
Really?
and then we started our North American tour, and we were getting ready to enter the Canadian border, and we got denied. So we drove from New York all the way back, and we were only 4 days into a 35-day tour. So we have a lot of merch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Fuck.
I didn't even think about that. Like, so many people probably got stuck with tons of merch, dude.
Yeah,
And they're finally
it's okay. I mean, our fan base was really great. We did a merch cartel and sold at a discounted price. And a lot of people that were planning on buying merch bought merch, and it eradicated our $16,000 merch bill. So that was nice. I didn't have to pay that out of pocket. But but we still have merch left over, and we will have new merch as well. We have a new album coming out June 3rd, Chaosmos. I'm really excited about that.
Totally. I listened to that, what is it? Ecophagy? Ecophagy, there you go.
Yeah.
Necrophagist?
I think just totally fucked it up, but I was going for it, dude. We had the same thought. Yeah, dude, it's a ripper, dude. That is a ripper.
I actually had questions about. I mean, we can get into that later, but it's a brand new song. It's coming out next month, but as far as the album's concerned. But so I wanted to ask you about it's an intense origin song in the beginning. It kind of has like an ode to like Cannibal at the end. Is that something like a heavy part at the end, right? That's kind of newer for Origin, right?
Yeah, well, I can't do the same roller coaster ride. I gotta have my whole thing is compositional dynamics, and I wanted to give a newer element, I guess, to us, is doing some different breakdowns. I mean, it'll still retain all the aspects of Origin. It's just that in the early days, our albums were 27 to 30 minutes long, and now this album's over 45 minutes. So to get to that point, if you're all your songs are blasting the entire time for 45 minutes, it's kind of like an action movie with no plot dynamics, and I call it compositional dynamics. Is what I'm trying to elaborate to in my song compositional writing. I'm just trying to create some different aspects and new elements, I guess, to Origin, but I mean, certainly not new to the metal industry. I mean, Cannibal Corpse is the largest band out there, so if anyone hears Cannibal in it and says they like it, I'm not gonna. Hey, I don't know. They're the biggest in the business for a reason. So.
Totally. Fuck yeah.
Well, good cool, shit, dude. So we got all the tours talked about. Everything. Go if you can't figure it out, just Google Origin merch, and you'll find something somewhere. Go buy it.
I think you have to do Origin band. I think it's easier if you always put the word band in there, because I mean, you might get some makeup kit or a consulting firm or a video game. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, I was a little ahead of the curve with Origin on some of that stuff, so I'll take it.
Right.
Fuck yeah.
Well, how what we'd like to start off with, Paul, and I can't wait to hear all of this. So, what up? Take us back as far as you can. We start it here all the time because it's a great place to start for the podcast. We get to, go through. You take us through your journey, basically from as early as you could think. Music became a thing for you. You're young, you're sitting around, your parents are listening to music, and something caught your ear.
Before you go, Paul, can I chime in real quick, man? I'm so sorry I can't stay for the episode, man. I gotta run back to class. I'm finishing this class.
All good. Get those
all worked out to be I got to get the certification, man. But yeah, Paul, I was like so excited for this episode for so long. Then I was like, I found out I wasn't gonna be able to make it. And I was just like, of course. Can't
I'm glad you at least still got. You found a way to like put your face on.
I'm
it and
glad
get
to
here, though,
see
for a
ya.
sec. That's
I'm
cool.
glad to see ya.
Yeah.
I love you,
That's
Casey.
Dude, buddy. I love you, Paul. You're the shit, dude.
Yeah, dude, no doubt, dude. And I wish you could stay on, dude. This is crazy. Actually, technically, it's not an episode that you missed. Now that you've been on, so Casey's face has been on every single episode so far.
He's keeping the streak going.
I think that's
my
funny.
Duolingo.
Well, enough about me. But when you see me disappear, I got to go back. But yeah, Paul, good to see you. I'm glad you came
Good,
on.
man. I'm happy to see you here.
Okay.
Okay, so basically, the origin or the origin of Paul Ryan and music.
We want pre-origin, Paul Ryan.
Yeah, I'm gonna go So basically, my mom was very musically inclined. She sang, she played piano, and she played drums. So I was always around music. My grandmother played piano. My uncle, her brother has like a grand piano in the front room. It's beautiful. You'd walk into their house during the holidays, and there's a grand piano, and that's all that's in this room was a grand piano, and he'd be playing beautiful music. And I always had an intriguement with music. I mean, hopefully everyone does. It's an endless journey. You know what I mean?
Totally.
But Mom had a kit, and she taught me rudiments on snare and all that. And I was going to be a drummer. Back then, my favorite band was Kiss. I was Gene Simmons. It's somewhere on my Instagram. I went and saw Kiss last year, and there's a picture of me as Gene Simmons when I'm like 6.
Nice.
And even though I just thought he was cooler than Peter Criss. I thought he was the coolest thing ever. He spit blood and looked like a demon, and I was like, even though he was the bass player. So I started on pots and pans and a snare, and I got to play the kit a little bit. You know, it was my mom could play like Wipeout and stuff like that on the drums.
Nice.
And so band started in 5th grade, but then this evil plot came in. This lady called Mrs. Rowan. She was the orchestra teacher, and she played Star Wars. And I was like, oh man, drums are stupid. My mom plays drums. I don't want to play drums if my mom plays drums. I'm going to play viola. I'm going to be the coolest person ever. I'm going to be like John Williams or whatever. I didn't even know his name then, but you know what I mean? I was like, this is it. This is the future. This is what I'm going to do. Drums are stupid. Done with drums. Like, my mom was like, are you sure? Like, you don't want to wait another year and get on the kit? I was like, yep, absolutely. This is what I want to do. And so that was 4th grade, 5th grade, maybe 6th grade. There was this girl named Jenny Wan. She was front chair. She was a musical savant. You know what I mean? And I was like, I'll never be as good as that.
Front
and
chair?
My first chair, like
first chair? What does that mean?
Well, in orchestra, you're kind of ranked how you're.
You sit like how you're ranked, huh?
The best player plays in front. You know, because you're close. You know, there's no microphone. They're not amping you. I mean, maybe in Philharmonic. You know.
No, it's like physical mixing.
Yeah,
like
they put the first
moving the instruments around as like a mix for the room.
Yeah, and you want your best players up front, you know, and also, you know, why there's this boom bar on the back, you know, because it's loud or whatever. But you want your best players in the front. Anyway, the emergence of MTV came out, and heavy metal, and like, you know, I was into Kiss, and Ozzy started coming around, and Motley Crue, and I was very so like. Dokken, Twisted Sister, Rat, stuff like that. And I was like, oh my, viola's stupid. This is so dumb. So dumb. I want to play guitar. I want to rock. I want to be cool and stuff. You know what I mean? It's so dumb. So, my dad was very much the outdoorsman, the sportsman, and he taught me discipline about how to be great. Like I was in baseball, and I won like 4 state winning teams in Kansas, and so I knew how to practice to be good at something if I loved it. And so so I mowed lawns. My dad, made me work for it, get it, and like I got my first guitar, and he matched me and bought me an amp and the cable and the tuner and all that stuff. And so basically, around 5:30 at night, my mom would be like, I'd be practicing guitar, and she's like, "Okay, it's time to practice viola now." And I was like, "Oh, this is so stupid. I hate the viola, dumb." But anyway, so I was doing that, and basically,
Yeah.
I had like a ghetto blaster that I took and recorded myself practicing like for 30 minutes. And so I
Yeah.
recorded myself one time and
I
would
know where
push
this is
play, and then I
going.
would sneak in my closet and play guitar, right? So anyway, to get extra practice in. And my mom, she'd be cooking dinner, and she was like, he keeps making the same mistake that, she's musically inclined. And so
Yeah,
at
dude.
27 minutes in, he keeps making that same mistake
Whoa.
every day. And so you could use this little metal thing and pick the lock in the door. And thank the Lord, I wasn't in the closet looking at Playboys at that. I was actually playing guitar. And I was sitting there playing my guitar, and I get a blaster's kind of close to the door, so I don't hear her. And she
Yeah.
taps me on the shoulder and like, look, Paul William Ryan, what are you doing? And I was terrified. I was like, I don't want to play stupid viola more. I want to rock like Twisted Sister. And anyway, so it was a school course, so I stayed with it probably at least till 7. I don't know if I never did. I didn't make it to high school with it, but so it kind of helped me along the way because I could transpose, even though the strings were different. I could figure out stuff by ear, and so like the emergence of MTV, and we would just record before Headbangers Ball. There was this thing called Metal Shop, and then Headbangers Ball, and we would just record videos and just try to figure out. I'll just try to figure out the guitar solos and the riffs and all that stuff. And so, like, when I first really started digging into guitar, I mentioned like the kind of the hair metal and the Maiden and the Priest and that stuff. But
Mhm.
then I heard Slayer and I heard Yngwie in about the same week, I think. And
Whoa.
like Yngwie, I could understand. Like I love the dark riffs of Slayer and evilness, and because I don't know if anyone knows, but I'm from Kansas, and my zip code where I grew up at is 66609 or 6660
66609.
inverted cross. So everyone in Topeka starts out with 666. So anyway,
Whoa.
and like I said, I was in the Gene Simmons and stuff like that from a very young age. So I was all into Slayer, and then like I could kind of figure out the Yngwie solos. I still don't know how Slayer does their. My guitar didn't have a wiggle stick. You know what I mean? So I couldn't do the horse neighs and all the dive bombs. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so that's kind of like where the beginning of my riffing. Like the darker sounds of Slayer, and then I don't really do that much leads, but I call them riff arps, where my arpeggios kind of came into the origin sound. That's where that would be the earliest hybrid of what I was doing. And then like as the music got heavier, I heard it was like my first 5 heavy tapes were like Slayer, Celtic Frost, Possessed, Voivod, and Creator. And so I was pretty young at this point.
Did you have to hide that from your parents at all?
No, my mom was cool. She was a little worried about all the satanic stuff, and like, my grandmother would always get me like the coolest thing on Christmas. Here you go, little Polly. Don't worship the devil, please. Merry Christmas. So there was some concern, and I was getting into trouble, and I was growing my hair out, being rebel, and running amok and doing crazy
Did you
shit.
have like-minded friends at the time already too?
I had some, and there were some older guys. They kind of point me in the right direction too.
Yeah, it's always good to
Um,
have the older generation.
yeah, they were
Feeding it.
that. I mean, they kind of helped me a lot with um, finding these other bands. You know what I mean? Like, well, there was this one punk band at my high school called the Sociopathetics, and they taught me that the punk side of like Butthole Surfers, Circle Jerks, DRI, Cryptic Slaughter, GBH, that kind of, like the whole, they have Statue of Liberty and Mohawks and stuff like that. And so, like,
Yeah,
there wasn't that many of us in metal. I mean, there was a bunch of fucking poser hair metal bitches, but there wasn't
Yeah.
like a bunch of true people. But the punkers, we associated more with them than I did primarily with the jocks or whatever. Even though I came from a sports background, I was like the devil. You know what I mean? Like, and I know, like, I was drinking and smoking in high school, and like he's the bad kid now, And then there was this club that we used to go see these shows at called the Outhouse, and like, I mean, literally everyone that Gigi Allen played there, like Pantera played there, Bad Brains.
Did you see Gigi Allen ever?
I was just about to ask that.
I didn't.
Yeah.
He. Yeah, that didn't appeal to me.
Too many
I always
turds.
thought he sucked. It's
I'd
funny
love
you
to
see
see a
girls.
first-person account though. I never would want to go. Obviously, Gigi's gone now, but I never had a inclined to go see that dude. But it's fascinating to me that there are
he went
a
to the most
group
extreme.
yeah,
right?
it
He's
is the most extreme. Like,
yeah. No one's gonna
Well,
top
I
him.
mean, it's funny because you see young girls wearing a shirt, and it's like, yeah, he punched holes in the face at the show. I mean,
all the time.
Yeah.
and the prettier you were, the more chance you're gonna get popped. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
I mean, that place. There's a movie about it called The Outhouse the Film. I highly suggest you check out the website. It's got the flyers and a trailer. There's a movie about it. Like I said, Tool played there, Nirvana played there, Pantera played there.
Wow.
Okay, so it was primarily a punk place from '85 to '90, and then like Napalm Death came and Bolt Through, and that was my church. That's where I hung out. I mean,
Yeah.
it was BYOB. You drank at the parking lot, mini kegs. I mean, there's stories. There were shotguns.
Yeah.
But we saw Deicide there on the Legion tour. I saw Bolt Tour on the War Master tour, Napalm, Harmony, Corruption, Entombed, Gore Guts, Corrosion of Conformity, Cannibal Corpse like 3 or 4 times, Fear Factory. I mean, Obituary, Malevolent Creation. I can't even think
was
of
it
all
those
of them.
older guys that turned you on to death metal, or did you stumble upon
Well,
it?
kind of both. Like I just kept going heavier and heavier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
Very
DRI, Cryptic Slaughter, and then I heard Napalm Death, and I started hearing Obituary, Pestilence, and Tomb, Carcass, Deicide, Suffocation. I was just always about the heaviest, the fastest, the sickest, whatever. Yeah. And then there was the sickest vocals or the sickest, the lowest vocals, and it's just gotten to so crazy now, you know what I mean? But it was like, that was me, you know what I mean? That basically I would order all this stuff from the music store, and and then we would go to parties, me and my friends, and like play Deicide and scare people.
Yeah, dude. That's a common thing, dude. I definitely you got this ego thing going, like, I'm listening to the most extreme shit at this party right now. Let's show everybody and just show how fucking cool we are. That's how Dan and I would be. Or like putting on the gnarliest fucking videos, like terrorist killers, Middle East wackos, and it's just like
just freaking everyone out
and suicides and shit. And we're just like, dude, you want a beer? Let's fucking chill, dude.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
Sublime
Faces of Death, Traces of Death, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you'd see like the most, everybody is in the room at one point. And this would happen at the Furniture Dome too, or like with Cannibal Holocaust. You just slowly look around the room, and then like, oh, there's another person missing. And slowly,
Yeah.
it would just gradually get to the point where literally it would be like me and Dan, and we're just still watching it. And just like, I guess this is where we're hanging out right now, dude. Check out that dude get his face blown
Just
off.
social repellent.
No, I mean, yeah, you definitely. I mean, like I've seen enough real death in my life now, so I don't even watch any of that stuff.
Oh no,
Yeah.
me neither.
Me neither,
Nowadays,
dude.
I can't do that.
It's like
That's the whole thing. Even then, too, a part of me was like, "Why am I even watching this, dude?" But you're young. You have this persona that you're trying to, be. You're 18 years old. Like you think you got it all figured out. I'm a death metal guy that loves gore and Satan, dude. But I'll still give you a hug.
yeah, I mean, and Katie, do you know what I mean?
But nowadays, I'm like, all that's just lame. It really is kind of just lame to me. Like the gore, watching gory horror films now, unless it's like done really well. But like just going to watch because I want to see blood and guts. It's just like that. It's not my thing anymore, dude.
I can't do it anymore personally for quite some time. I mean, I still can watch the classics and be scared like I was when I was little, but I'm not. I don't search out anything new really. I guess
Right.
I'm like Origin, like I played in my first. Okay, so my first band, my dad would like turn that infernal racket off. So that's what we called ourselves. You know what I mean?
Infernal
It was
Racket.
Infernal Racket, dude.
infernal racket. But
I love it.
my first real band was called Necrotomy, and it was the carcass, gore grind, Webster's Medical Dictionary,
Yep.
uh, and then that. Then my second band was called The Abomination, and that was more intense. I was starting to develop my sound, and like there was other bands locally that influenced me, and one of those was George Fluke, who was in this band called Excessive Strain, and like they were he was the person that
You called it, dude.
Some guy in the chat
he
just said that earlier, so I threw it out there. He's a little excessive strain.
you can find a video on YouTube. There's only one video. It's Excessive Strain, Mother Dearest. You'll see me in the video. I just came from my band practice and showed up at theirs, and they're like, "Do some vocals." I'm like, I've only heard this song once before in my life. So you'll see me holding like a lyric sheet and some about 4 minutes in. But anyway, so and I jammed with some guys for a while, and we just never could get it together. We could just never piece it together. Um, and they're great players, but we could never get in the studio, or it never just held together long enough to make it. I mean, we played house parties and basements and stuff like that, but
Mm-hmm.
my I'm just trying to get you up to where Origin, and so
Yeah,
pretty
no, it's
much
all good. But
No, I
we
love
love all this. We really do. We want to hear every step of the way, So it's like,
Yeah,
how old
so-
were you at that time?
well, I was a teenager. There was
So
wasted
you're still in
years,
high school.
literally. I was just out of high school
Okay.
when Necrotomy formed. Or I was in high school and just out of high school, and
Yeah.
then the Abomination was like a year later, and then that fell apart. And then I jammed with these guys for a couple years, and at this point, death metal was, like the bands I loved weren't putting out the good albums anymore, and I mean, like Obituary broke up. I mean, Suffocation did a tour without Frank. There was like I saw Obituary with Keith DeVito on vocals. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
Keith.
and like Napalm was putting out albums like Diatribes. I mean, I love Fear of Despair, but like that, like just a lot of the bands weren't putting out the same quality of music or even existing anymore. And I
Mhm.
was just trying to develop my sound to make death metal more intense. I don't know, you know what I mean? And kind of with George Fluke, he was this musical savant and did all this crazy stuff on drums, and like he went to a dentist.
This guy's still like.
Dude.
Is it the
What?
same George from Excessive Strain?
Yes.
Grave
Yeah, yeah.
human
He was the
genuine
first
on
drummer of
point.
Origin. He was the first
Okay.
drummer of Origin.
Yeah.
And he did this thing. I jam with him from time to time, but he was always so rooted and busy in his work. And anyway, he went to a Dennis Chambers drum seminar, and Dennis Chambers was doing this thing where he was doing like, let's see, he was doing a one-handed roll on a tom while he was doing a beat. And so George is like, hey, how did you do that? You know, like George is kind of a goof. He's like 6'8", but he's kind of a goofy guy. He's really funny, but please. And so he was like, I'll take that. And he called me up. And he never called me. I always called him. I was the guy, hey, you want to jam? You want to jam? Want to jam? Want to jam? Yeah, I want to jam. I want to jam with you. Anyway, he comes up to me. He's like, "No, man, I got something that's I can play a blast beat faster than your right arm now." And I was like, "Whatever, get out!" And so he just showed up and just did the thingy or whatever.
Yeah.
Gravity.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh!" And so that first time I ever heard that was when I wrote the first riff that Origin ever on the first Origin song I ever recorded, Lethal Manipulation. That was the first time I ever heard that beat. And so there you go. There's the start of that. So
I still have the. Is that how many demos did Origin do? Because you had that one that you redid recently, but there was
basically the coming into existence is the first and only original EP from that time period. The thing that we re-released, Abiogenesis, was songs that I wrote like in the Crotomy and the Abomination. And basically the whole deal with that was Agonia wanted to release it coming into existence because it's been out of the print for a long time, and they asked me about, do you have any bonus material? I was like, yeah, but it's not really Origin. It's like stuff I wrote before Origin. And I played drums, bass, and guitar, and I made some recordings of it, and they were like super interested in it. And I was like, yeah, but it's not really Origin. It's like before Origin. And so they kept pushing me about it for like a couple years, and I had to go back and look for lyric sheets in my mom's house in the closet. I'm like looking through my old Playboys that I had, like when I was like 14 or whatever. These lyric sheets,
stash your lyrics inside magazines. Like, all right, so I'm gonna call it out because it's in the chat. Bone Crusher Chronicles is on the 7th page of the August issue of 2003. All right, enough of that. Sorry.
I don't even know. But the Lethal Manipulation, the Bone Crusher Chronicles. I mean, Mark was an MMA guy, and I was like, okay. Back we were kind of talking about it. I was like, okay, no Satan, no God, no beast, no religious talk, no blood and guts. And Mark wrote the song, like, we've got to come out and be fucking brutal. I was like, all right, this is your one and only about beating somebody fucking down, T-Town beat down, and then like Sociocide and different, I was like, I wanted to do something different, like lyrically on like, I mean, I love all the old Slayer and Possessed stuff, but Voivod would be like my sci-fi thriller kind of, that my mentality of how I was trying to do something different in death metal lyrically or imagery wise, and so I would point as Voivod as the major influence of that. Trying to come up with space
Themes.
or like agnostic or atheistic approach without the blood and guts. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and just
totally.
Napalm had some inner strife and struggle and misanthropy. You know what I mean? Like, but I just wanted it to be something different. Like, I know like there's been many conversations with different bands, like when you have to cross the border and you have to say what band you are.
yeah.
I mean, what band you guys in? Dying
Prosthetic
Fetus.
cunt.
Yeah, or, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, or I mean, I've been told that Abe actually said Origin, and John says Origin before. But you know, like
Yeah,
you got to go across the border, or you know, like you see your old kindergarten teacher, and yeah, exactly, whatever horde
totally.
name you have. Oh, you're going on tour? What's the band name? I want to look it up.
I would just tell
You're
people
doing
faceless.
so good.
Yeah,
Oh,
I just be like
faceless, yeah.
I'd be like, I'm in the faceless, dude. I don't want to say decrepit birth to an old lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
Odious
we were
mortem.
at
Most people just don't even know what it means. So
Yeah,
like,
odious mortem. They're like, what does that mean? I'm like, oh, that's Latin. It means like, I don't know, love, live, laugh, love, dude. All right, so
we were in like central part of Mexico, and we stopped at some side uh side Mexican restaurant, outdoor kind of thing, and they could tell we were in a band, and so it was us and Faceless, and they're like, "What band you guys in?" And we're like, "Faceless." And then they played it. It was all like ranchero stuff. Like they all had cowboy hats
oh
and
shit,
oh, like
cowboy
mariachi
boots.
dudes.
Yeah, but they
like
no cowboy
metalachi.
hats.
Oh,
Real
yeah.
it was like rancher style anyway. And then wore cowboy boots, and then so they played. They like stopped the like the accordion music, dun, 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 and played a Faceless song. And
Whoa.
let's say they didn't play two Faceless songs; they only played one. And it was the one where they're singing and stuff, so it was a little bit more accessible. But then once it started just doing the blasts and the growls,
Yeah.
it's like
They're
you
all
could tell
dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
the vibe was like El Diablo. So yeah, so Origin,
Oh man,
the name Origin, it took a while for us to figure it out, but it was like the creation of something different. It's all, or the
Mhm.
start of something different is all. I mean,
Coming
and it's a
to
word that
into
creates
existence.
question. Everyone has a different origin, so it can be more of a personal mission, But I, I just wanted something a little different. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it worked. It stuck out. And I mean, some people thought we were a stoner band before they heard us. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
Nebula.
I'd love to see the reaction of the dude who was expecting a stoner rock album or
yeah.
something, and then fucking an origin song.
He's
or
got a
origin
Well,
Bongzilla shirt on.
yeah, Relapse. Was they had Bongzilla and
Yeah,
Nebula and like they had Doom bands. So this is you could go to deathmetal.com, or I think that was the thing with the push the button, right?
yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
Deathmetal.com.
Damn.
deathmetal.com, that was a real thing, right?
Yeah, that was a
Yeah,
It
while
probably
ago.
still is, but I'm just saying, like
yeah.
back
It
then,
was
that was
that's
actually like
where
a
you would
source.
find little 8-second clips that you would wait 23 minutes to hear and be like, ooh, I like that. I like that. I'm gonna check them out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Totally.
So,
Damn.
So okay,
but
so all right,
go ahead.
that first EP that you got it together and you self financed it, put it out yourselves, right? It's there, no
Hmm.
record label helped you with that. That was an indie release.
Correct. Hmm.
Okay. So
And
did you
we got
go?
our first show with Origin open for Suffocation on our first show.
So that's how
Jesus.
that led to getting that gig, was passing that out,
No,
and then it.
that came out right after our first show. Basically, I was jamming with George at Excessive Strain, and the original singer of Excessive Strain was in this new band called Down Banger, and they're the biggest thing regionally in the area at the time. And we played, it was Origin by Heavenly Created, Down by Anger, and Suffocation. And basically, I had never played a show in an actual club before.
Yeah.
And like my friend pushed Paul's, they're like, Paul's never played a show ever, like at a venue. He's only played, garage grinding, basement blasting, storage shredder. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
yeah, house parties and shit like that. You know what I mean? And so um, there was some resistance. We got on the show and opened for Suffocation, and I had like my mead notebook, and I just went up to people and was like, "Hey, if you like what you heard, write down your information, and I'll mail you flyers of our next show and our
Upcoming
what we're
stuff.
gonna
Yeah.
release." And because I was that guy, Jeremy Turner would drive, I'd run out and just staple stuff to the telephone pole, and then run back in, drink slam half a beer, and the next stoplight, and like wouldn't go anywhere without a handbill in my pocket, or like. And then we recorded the EP, and then I wouldn't go anywhere without that in my pocket. I would just hand it out. I would go. Now, again, I was centrally located, but I went to see Deicide
To
and
go back,
Death. And
I want to go back real
okay,
quick to the that first gig. So the
okay.
anticipation of finally getting on stage in front of a crowd. I want to know what you were feeling before then, and also your reaction and response to the feeling after the show as well. Like,
Oh, okay.
of course, you're
Somewhere.
nervous. You're like, I'm opening for fucking Suffocation for my first gig ever. You're just like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, I met those guys in '93, and then we partied down with them, and Terrence got so wasted. I think Josh uh, was their sound guy because it was Chris Richards, and there was that's a whole nother story. But they didn't hear I had like a garage recording of the Abomination, and they checked it out, and I don't think they remembered me. But anyway, like, um, I mean, Cerrito let me use his cab. You know what I mean? Like, we just used their back line, and they were cool to us. As far as like, I was super confident in our music.
That's a good.
But the crazy thing was, I didn't know what a monitor was then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how grindcore I was. You know what I mean? What is this strange thing producing sound of my sounds in front of me? It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
You know, so that's how underground I was. You know what I mean?
So yeah, you were just learning what it was. Yeah, the
being on stage and all the fucking weird shit comes
extra
with it.
stuff that comes with it that you didn't realize. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, Doug Cerrito is like one of my earliest favorite guitar players, and Suffocation. And it was like, and I got to use Clinton was playing bass and uses Chris Richards stuff, and Jeremy. We just used our own heads on their stuff, and
What
like
album
we
were
had
they supporting?
Despise the Sun.
Yeah, that's what I was
fuck
guessing.
yeah.
Fuck, dude, so sick.
And so
God.
and Kevin Talley was the drummer live for that show, but so it was Frank, Chris Richards on bass, Terrence and Doug, and then Dave Ross didn't do the tour. They kind of trash talked him a little bit, like.
Yeah, who was drumming on that tour? Just,
Kevin Talley.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice, yeah.
And anyway, it was the three heaviest bands, Topeka, and then Suffocation. So there was a good turnout. I mean, Suffocation was. I mean, there was 300 to 400 people there. I mean, and in '98, I don't think Suffocation was. Even though they put out a great EP, they weren't getting the big shows. And I mean, even Terrence is like, "Holy shit!" You know what I mean? Like, there was close to 400 people there on a Saturday night. You know what I mean?
Damn.
And the show went really well. I know they sold a ton of merch. I mean, the reaction to Origin was great. Like, my notebook filled up. You know what I mean? And
So you basically came out of that like amped, probably like, oh yeah, let's do this again as soon as possible.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, we really Origin. The original lineup only played 4 shows, but we played like a grind show with Disassociate, Phobia, and Wormwood as our second show, and then our third show was oh man, I'm starting to. I don't know, but we opened up for Gorguts, it was Origin, Nile, Cryptops, the Oppressor, Gorguts.
What the
fuck?
Jesus.
And then we just were. I mean, like, all of a sudden, they knew I was going to flyer. You know what I mean? They knew I was going to handbill. And then, like, the dissolution of that lineup, and that was the EP era. That was '98. And then I met John, and then I also met Doug Williams at the end of '98. George wasn't going to tour, travel, and I wanted more. And so I had an EP to hand out. And like I said, we would go to Deicide or Death shows in Nebraska. Or I went to go to Colorado. I hung out with the Fall Carnage guys, handing out demos. So I just doing tape trades and mailing out CDs and tapes to
Mhm.
like underground zines for reviews, and then the first show with the second lineup, we opened up for Napalm Death. So like like I was getting all the good bills. We were like
Yeah,
main.
dude.
Now we're
That's
at main support. You
huge.
know what I mean? And I just kept mailing out stuff, and then Cephalic Carnage, we do show trades because Denver's 560 miles, like 8 or 9 hour drive, and like they would come our way, or we started doing shows their way. I think Origin start really quick. Relapse used to be based out of Denver before they were based in Philadelphia, and they asked us to play this show, and it was John and Quartered. Uh, oh, man. Origin. Oh man. Okay. First of all, it was Primordial, Drawn and Quartered, Origin, Vile, and then this is when it was Juan and Jeff Huell and Mike Hamilton had just
Yeah, I was
joined
just about to say
Vile.
Oh, damn.
Hamilton.
Or no, he had been in Vile. He hadn't been in Deeds yet. But and then
Yeah.
Solid Fall at Carnage, and so we played this show in Denver, and I mean the next day, Relapse. I mean a whole bunch of people from Relapse were there, and
Mhm.
people were. I mean, they were calling us like, and then all of a sudden we started doing November to Dismember and the March Metal Meltdown in New Jersey and Texas, and we weren't even signed yet, but they were just putting us on these festivals. Or
And this is
yeah,
all just still based. I mean, it's piggybacking just the EP. Still, you guys
yeah,
haven't signed to a label yet. No full length yet. Listen, I mean, dude, this is wild stuff to hear. That you guys just kind of hit the ground running, and kept going because you hear everybody else's upcoming. I mean, yes, you had previous bands, and there was a long time before this all came to fruition. But like once it like was out there, the
yeah. I mean,
fact that like you were getting all those great bills, and then just the right timing for the Relapse dudes to be in there and seeing you, it's like I love this. I want so
yeah.
let's keep going.
We just like um, I would just do tape trades and show trades and like South Dakota or New
That's what
Mexico,
I was going to ask you.
Oklahoma,
Did it like
Arkansas.
the fact that you're seeing all this not success, but like things are happening so well in the beginning, like did it give you a little bit of an ego?
I won't say it was the ego, but we were confident when Relapse was talking to us, and then we were playing these festivals, and we were unheard of, but we were getting good spots, and then like people, you know, were buying our merch, and like people were writing letters, and we were in the underground zines. We were just getting like a lot of press, like people
Grinding
were,
like that is really I mean, that's definitely a big foundation for it too. Just getting it, pushing it out there yourselves, like not worrying about anybody else. You were just like, I got to make sure that these people, it comes across, certain people, and then it gets pushed out further. It's kind of like a baton pass in a relay race, like once you get it to that person can take it and run with it, and then it kind of blossoms. And
yeah. Well, I mean, I was a part of a little bit of the underground tape trading team, but my thing was I was VHS trading, like live shows, like,
yeah,
Yeah.
and I would be like, okay, here's Deicide in Nebraska, here's an Origin show, and here's, um, like I got this, Morbid Angel from live show, like, and I would put it, and so I already knew how to tape trade some and all that stuff. But then it was like, then I had my own band, and like I would just, if I was at the show, I mean, I didn't go anywhere without a flyer or like a demo of some sort to hand to someone. If I saw someone on the street with a death metal shirt, I just handed them music,
yeah,
and all our
yeah.
contact information was in there. You know what
That's crazy. It's
I
like
mean? And
that's like the literally the what I missed. Like I just missed that style of promotion. Like when I was doing Odia stuff, it's like the MySpace was there.
Yeah.
There was like all the technology involved, but we never had to go. I'd see back in the day before I was like in a band that was actually playing shows. I would see bands at Kinko's just fucking making, getting like the hot green paper and just fucking.
My
it's
high
like,
school band
making
had a
1,000.
website. My high school
Really?
band had a website. It was, what was it, Angel Fire? Do you remember
Oh,
those?
Angel Fire,
yeah.
Remember those
GeoCities
back in the
Yeah,
day? And
Yeah,
dude, it
yeah.
was so whack. And then you'd have like the view counter at the bottom, and you'd check it every day. Like, oh, dude,
It's only you making it go up.
one more from yesterday, dude. I wonder why.
Oh man,
No,
I
but
remember handwriting the letters on the, and then licking the stamp or whatever. Like just handwriting
yep.
the letters, like
Yeah,
150 letters. Just here's our next 2 shows with the flyer and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that was painful.
right,
Yeah,
And like
yeah.
that was a whole night of just writing their addresses in, and then your return address, and exactly
Damn.
Kiko's, and like I said, just every corner there was a flyer for the show. Anywhere there was a bar, we were
Yep.
always
So
hitting
it
that
obviously
up.
paid off because you guys got, Relapse got wind of you guys, saw you live, started giving you a bunch of gigs and shit. So now, what take us up to the point where they approach you and say, "Hey,
Well, it was right after that Denver show they started talking to us, and they wanted to see it again, and like we did that March Metal Meltdown in New Jersey, and that was a big thing for us, and then we played the November Dismember in Texas. We pretty much had, I think at that point they were like, okay, these guys are bringing it like at their shows, and so then it was like they just called us on the phone, and then we had to get a lawyer and all that stuff for contractual
yeah,
stuff. I mean, this was all that part angle of it was all new to me. You know what I mean?
the
And
actual business side of it."
yeah, I mean, like I knew how to do the T-shirts and book shows and get us from gig to gig, but I didn't know any of the like logistics of that stuff.
Totally.
Yeah.
I still don't really like
Yeah,
to know
we
about it.
actually breaking. I mean, we signed a contract the other day with a record label announced soon, but like I didn't even read it.
I
I just
did.
Ah.
I read like the main part. I was like, okay, the money and the album. That's because I'm not like in it for money anymore. It's not like I have a job and that's like where the
Yeah.
where
The
the money's
difference
going to come
between
from.
Origin and
I just want
Odious Mortem
distribution.
is Odious Mortem just wants to continue putting out music, and
Yeah.
we need somebody to a catalyst.
Like
of
I don't
some
want to
sort
do it.
put it out
That
there.
sounds like a pain
I-
in the ass.
We
I don't want-
we know people who did the DIY thing and went big with it, and it's a stress. It's a big stress.
They do a
dude.
lot of work. I mean, labels. I mean, obviously, there's people complain about record deals and stuff like that. Which a bad record, which I've seen a lot of them actually from bigger labels that give those kind of like development deals that are terrible. But
Yes.
If
Yeah, I mean,
if somebody wants to give us money to make our art, that's all
I don't
care
want to
about,
put
dude.
the capital out and do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
So Dan Kenny's trying to
unfortunately,
join, by the way.
Origin's got a moving. It's a moving part now. It's bigger than
Send him a link.
I'm like,
I did. I already
oh,
sent him a link. He can't do it. He's too dumb.
Dude.
He's all.
No.
He's all. He texted me. He's just all, dude. It wants to allow my mic and camera. Like, how does that work? I'm like, oh my god, dude.
Allow it, dude. He doesn't have
That's
a
what I
mic or
said.
anything.
I was gonna
It
surprise
wants
you
to
guys with him,
allow it.
and now he's
Aw.
like trying to get on all like. I was gonna just throw him in here randomly and just like freak everyone out. But
Now he's saying, "I wish I could join in, but I don't have Twitch." Dan, it's not Twitch.
he's
dude.
on Twitch right now.
who are we talking about?
Dan Kenny.
Dan Kenny's trying.
Oh,
to
Dan
join on that.
Kenny. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Hi,
He-
Dan
he-
Kenny.
He wanted to surprise us and jump on the podcast, but he doesn't know how to use his phone. But
It's StreamYard, dude. Just hit the link, right?
He
Yeah,
needs
yeah.
to. Does he need to go out on tour with Uncle Paul so I can give some life lessons again?
probably.
Funny, great story of well, it's not really funny. It's just a cool story that Dan and I used to go to Guitar Center, and we would literally go there, and he'd be looking at guitars. I'd be like, "Hey, dude, I'm going to the drum section. I'm gonna go play on the electric drums," and I'd fuck around in there for like a half an hour and come back and be like, "Oh, yep, I realized why I'm not a drummer." Now I go back over here, and then Paul Ryan's working there, and you're just like, "What the fuck, dude? That's the guitar player from Origin, dude." And what was so cool about Paul is that he actually, accepted people as fans coming into the. I'm sure you had this so many times, dude. Once they hear that you worked at Guitar Center, there's probably so many people that came in there and like, "Where's Paul?" You know. But
I
my
mean,
thing was like,
it's definitely a very humbling experience and very, it,
and
I
what
love Dan Kenny's mom, and I went,
Vanessa,
like, and Pat, like I, I treated them all like family. I mean, and I felt like everyone that came in felt they were treated well. And Guitar
dude,
Center has had some bad rep, but I felt like I was above and beyond all that. And
totally. I
I
mean, you helped
definitely
so
had
many bands. You helped so many bands
definitely
out, dude. So many bands out. Like you helped every
nationwide
band
too, not
out,
just
you
the
know.
ones walking in the store. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, definitely the Bay Area. I watched, all Animosity to Odious and
Yeah,
Decrepit. I mean, I could Severed Savior. I mean, like, I tried, tried to help out everyone at one point.
totally, dude. And you, this was what showed me how cool you were at that time, dude. Because you would literally spend your break taking requests from me and Dan. We'd be like, play this song, play that song, and he could totally just be like, "Fuck you guys, I gotta go eat." Or whatever. But he's like, no, dude, I'll chill with these guys. You probably could see like the excitement and fire in our eyes because at that
Oh,
time, dude, Carnivorous was the only thing that we were doing.
Carnivorous. Oh yeah, I
Fast forward to
remember that.
now, you
I
got
remember,
Suicide Silence, Severed Savior, and Odious Mortem, all this kind of shit. But it was
we
just
had
me and
Matt
Dan then.
Seaman and Nate Venerucci. Those guys came in
Shout
and
out
they were
Nate.
the
What
young
up?
shredders, on the block. And like I watched them develop, into who they are now. And like it's funny. I've seen people that were kids, be taller than me now. I grow up and there's definitely there's that was some of the joy of working at Guitar Center is watching that light turn on like we all had when we finally just got it. Like, oh my
Yeah,
God, I love music.
yep.
And like, you sit there and and it happens and you'll see that happen for kids, maybe they come in at first couple times and they're shy and then all of a sudden they're just all about it,
Just
just
eating
love
it up.
music.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what style, but just that love, that passion that we all have.
Oh,
Why we're
dude,
even
that
here on this
energy.
podcast.
Yeah, you pick up on it very easily when it's real for that person. So definitely,
Oh,
dude, being able to
it's a
see musicians do that,
we
dude.
all remember when that light turned on for us, whether it be the love of this of music or playing music. That's definitely a joy. That's one of the joys of uh, working at Guitar Center. I
Yeah,
mean, for me,
Yeah, the cool thing
so it
about death
was.
metal too, just like death metal in general, is that I mean, obviously the music means a lot to us, obviously, but as far as the like personalities kind of mean a lot to us too. Like if you meet a member of a band, he's like shitty to you, you're kind of like fuck that band forever. It's kind of like you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like you'll all of a
been
sudden turn your
there.
back. Yeah, you'll turn your back on a band that you loved because the main dude, you're like, oh my god, he's just all cool dude. Later,
I
and you're like,
can't. I
fuck
can't
this,
really think of an
know?
example, but like I know what you're saying. But as we've
Yeah,
gotten older, I think I give a little bit more slack to people because you
me
realize that
too.
you could have caught somebody on a bad day, and that's it.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
but I mean, yeah, if you have enough of those experiences, especially more than one with the same person, that's when it's like, okay, yeah, I just know this dude's an asshole.
It's funny to see like bands like I've seen bands pivot too when it kind of gets out that they're like the main dude's an asshole or something or like and all of a sudden they're like on this like fucking forgive me tour and they're just like super like I don't know I'll bring it up like it's like Muhammad from Necrophagus. He was known as kind of like a dickhead to a lot of people and people were like this guy's an asshole and we went on tour with him and he's the sweetest motherfucker I've ever met in my
And
life
and
and
all of my experiences with him have also
yeah.
been like super
And
cool
a member of
dude.
Suffocation would come up to me because we were it's like Suffocation. I think you were on that tour. It was that Summer Slaughter tour. What was that? Origin Suffocation? Might have been another Summer Slaughter, but it was Necrophagus. Was that the one you
Yeah,
did?
I've had bad experiences with them, but
Uh, see, that's it. It's just on which day and when.
I
That's
will.
what it is.
I'm not gonna throw them under the bus. We did
Yeah,
do.
let's
Yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
do
I
it
turned down. We turned down let's just say we turned down a couple more tours with them. I was like, they're
based
good
on
shows, but
your experiences. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like, phenomenal musician, just a different way of doing things. I mean, there's certain bands that I, uh, You know,
Yeah,
like
you don't have to. Yeah,
we were
Yeah,
we
we don't
were
have to-
worried. We were worried to tour with Deicide. Okay, like historically, I've heard bad things about Deicide, and I've even seen like, oh, I don't know, man. So we got an offer with Deicide, and then we did that tour with Deicide. It was fucking awesome. I mean, he's helped me parallel park the first show. I'm like, I got this, but 19-year-old me is like, Glenn Biddens helped me parallel park for Satan.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like,
Totally.
you know, and
Totally.
Parallel park
Man,
for Satan, dude.
he was like, I mean, I don't know that I don't know how he could still be that mad
I mean,
about
the
God.
biggest
But
asshole I've ever met was
You're right. I know, totally
yeah.
right.
I mean, the biggest asshole I've ever met was Dan Kenny. Fucking
oh my God, Dan Canny!
Now let's
What's up,
see if
buddy?
let's see if them vocals work.
Test.
All right, I gotta go, guys.
Ah!
Motherfucker, dude.
I just removed him.
All right.
What's up, man?
Glenn Benton turned out to be a sweetheart, and that's all I'll say. I won't throw anybody on the bus, you know what I mean? But you'll see.
Good.
Oh.
No,
You do-
that's not what we're trying to do here either. You know.
Dan, who do you want to throw under the bus? What's the biggest asshole rock star? Oh, there's probably Dave Mustaine for him because remember Dave Mustaine kicked him off the tour.
Yep.
Are you trying to get some viewers? What are you doing? What's up, dude?
We don't need your help.
I can't see
Hi,
Paul
Dan.
Ryan.
You
I'm
can't see
here.
Paul Ryan?
Oh, the fucking sweetest guy in death metal right there.
Hell yeah, dude. I love
There I
this,
am.
dude.
Hey, can I tell a funny story about you, Paul?
Go for it.
Sure.
All right.
I might have to get you back if it's rough.
No, it's not that rough. When we were touring, when I was at Animosity, we toured with Origin and Middle of the Creation, and I remember I went to Taco Bell with you, and you were like, "Dan,
Multiple times.
you never had a 7-layer burrito?"
Yeah.
I was like, "No, I haven't." You want to know what's on it? I go, "Yeah, it's got beans and rice and cheese." And you
List all 7 layers.
burrito, and I go, "Yeah, I'll have me one of those."
I'll have me one of them. Yep. You sold me.
You sold me, Paul
With all
Ryan.
those layers.
Working at Guitar Center for no reason. He should have been working at Taco Bell the whole time.
I did prior to Origin. I did work at Mexican restaurants, so I was all about Mexican food. Still am to this day. But one little thing, one little tour tip that I have to give Animosity credit for was the. I will always remember this. We were driving by and I saw you guys in a car wash, but the band wasn't in the car wash. It was you guys laying up against the wall, and that's how you guys were taking a shower.
That's called the shower, yeah.
And
Me, David, and Frank, we were all like this.
yeah,
Just hose me down.
and
Leo
Frank
was just closing us.
yeah, and Frank could bent over and pulled down his shorts and exposed himself.
Oh my god!
And he got power soaked right in the old stink eye, and he about jumped through the ceiling.
Oh my god, a power
So
washer.
tour tip: do not expose your stink eye during a power wash with your bandmates, because you will get blasted like a super enema.
That was a fat chick tour.
Oh,
Was it animosity? Sorry. Anyways.
animosity. That's good. Yeah.
Animosity.
I think I hope Frank's in a great place now, because I was really worried about him on that tour.
He actually is.
He's in a great
Okay.
place, dude. He's a dad. He's got realms of vision. He's always
Yeah,
he's
he's
been
a
painter, I think.
He's a painter, and his butthole's never been the same. Fuck, man. Hey, Paul, I can't see you, which kind of sucks. I can see.
How is that? Why is that?
Can you see him now?
So can you see him right now?
No.
Well, it's got to be on your end, then,
Dude, fucking boomer
I'm
over
here.
there. Like,
I'm still smiling.
I have an iPhone 6S, you guys. Relax.
Oh,
You know what's
Relax.
crazy is I had that. I can talk shit about you now, but I did have that phone up until like a year ago too, and then I finally got the
Do
new
you
one.
miss this button? Do you miss this button?
I
Oh, I
don't
missed the
miss
button.
that
I missed the button.
Do you? I
Yeah,
actually don't
the,
because it
the
used to
thumb
fucking break.
thing. Because you could literally like unlock your phone with the thumb, and you don't have to use your fucking face.
Dude, when that was going on, I was like one of those guys like, I'm not giving him my fingerprints, even though my fucking all my information is all over the place, and he could just
You've like
get
been
all of
fingerprinted
it.
for
Oh,
jobs
man.
and shit. Like,
And then you go, oh, I'm gonna write a song about this. What?
The evolution
And
of
then-
cell phones during tour time has been fantastic. So
yeah, no, I know the
Hey,
iPhone was just coming
Hey,
out when I
Paul,
was on the first
Paul,
tour.
when's your record come out, brother?
June 3rd.
Oh,
right around the
too
corner.
far away.
Too far
Well,
away.
it'll probably be available like the week before or something. And just so everyone knows, there will be a video coming out for the title track Chaosmos soon.
Fuck yeah.
And
Hell yeah.
it was done by Dave Brodsky, who did.
Oh, he's the fucking best.
Yeah, he's super awesome. Stand where your balls drop.
Did you go to New York to do it?
Yeah, I was in New York about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and basically,
He's
so well,
such-
that's the same guy who did the Finite video. Just so if you're familiar, he's done tons of videos, but he's a great dude, great person to work with. Man, there's a rabid
Make your dog.
dog or something.
Yeah, tell your dog to
Your dog sucks.
that I love it.
She has diabetes.
Oh shit, he has dog diabetes.
Damn.
That's a thing. I guess it's a
Yeah, it's common,
thing.
Yeah.
Brutal.
sadly.
Yeah.
So, dude, we got way off into the weeds. I love that Dan's here, but I want to kind of get back to the timeline too. So, Dan, we're right up against. We haven't even gotten to Origin's first release of a full length yet.
Okay, basically at this point we had just had already. We probably played like 14 or 15 states, and we went in just outside of Milwaukee and recorded with Chris DeJuric. I think he goes by Chris Wisco now, who had done Gorgasm and stuff like that. And we went up there, recorded our first album, like maybe the winter, and then summer of 2000, basically, we go on tour. It's Origin, Exhumed, and Cephalic Carnage. And that was the first, and that wasn't the first, that was the first Relapse tour I did, but it was Contamination. And those were a huge success. Like the year before, it was Today is the Day, Nauseam, Soylent Green.
Can we give a shout out to the Contamination compilations that used to come out?
You can for sure.
I mean, I definitely am, because I'm going to say that's where I first heard Origin. That's where I first heard Origin was those Relapse comps.
We could go us, me and you together.
Yeah.
I see you.
Totally, dude. I was always the one that would buy those compilations too.
Yeah, you bought it because I was poor.
But it gave us so much. It exposed us to so much. So yeah.
Well, they just kind of copied the early Metal Blade idea, and I feel that really helped develop a lot of different Relapse bands, because Relapse was a very broad label. They had Mortician, they had Dillinger Escape Plan, they had Today is the Day, they had Origin, they had Cephalic Carnage, they had Nauseam, they had
Pig Destroyer, Agoraphobic
Pig Destroyer,
Nosebleed.
Be Numb. I mean, that's the thing on that first Contamination tour. I don't know, it was 7 or 8 weeks, and like our first couple shows, Mastodon opened up for us, and then we played a show with Flesh Parade and Goat War, and then we played shows with Venom. We played shows with Deceased. We played shows with Mortician, Today is the Day, Burnt by the Sun, Dillinger Escape Plan. Like wherever they were kind of regionally. So Origin, Cephalic, and Exhumed did all the shows, but we'd have regional support with Relapse bands. So it was like a huge success.
Killer, dude. Yeah,
for a
because
lot
those
of those
compilations would
shows.
be like 50 songs too, and they'd give you multiple tracks from each band. So you get a nice, well-rounded being exposed to it.
Was there Regurgitate on that too?
Regurgitate. Oh, yeah. The
no,
most famous cover that came out on Relapse.
No, it was darn it, oh man, from Portland.
I feel like Orchid.
And we're like 100. That's 150 tours ago. I'm trying to remember. I
I
can't
know,
remember
dude.
all
You've
the
been all
shows.
over
Jesus.
I
the
feel
I
I feel
know.
like Origin, no matter what, if they were thrown on a show, they were always the one everybody talked about.
Yeah.
I mean, we played crazy shows back then. We played with Thursday. We played with Yob. We played with Orange Goblin. We played, like it didn't matter. We would play with any animosity. We would play with anyone. I mean, like that's the thing was like put us on a bill. We'll people are gonna love us or hate us, but they'll talk about us regardless.
That's what you guys were known for. You guys were known for like you guys were doing a big tour, and on your off days, you played shows on your off days. Like you guys were nonstop. That was like the origin, like lore is that you guys are just
That's
the hardest working.
That's the shows you want to see is those off days.
Yeah, totally. Like those.
We have
like,
the great ones. And it's like we still book shit like that sometimes. Like we were on tour with Morbid Angel, and there was a Friday and a Saturday off, and I was like,
What?
yeah, not happening.
I just
Paul's
booked
like, I'm going to St. Louis, guys.
I mean, we did one up in Eureka. You know what I mean? That was like weird. Like
What?
we're off on a Saturday in California, so I booked one up in Eureka. And it's like 5 days notice, and 150 people showed up. You know what I mean? And it was a rager. You know, little ragers are what we call them. You know what I mean?
I think we actually did what we did you did an off day with us. It was actually funny that even Dan even said that. It was St. Louis. It was when James had just stopped. The power went out.
It was
the whole city.
I don't know if it was the creepy crawl. Yeah, it was like there was a tornado down like close by.
Yeah.
And I remember like
great
James
lineup,
King was
nobody
like
there.
Yeah, no one there. Yeah, because
no one there.
Crazy.
Even the promoter didn't show up.
Yeah,
we had to call his ass.
That's
dude.
when you know it's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But James King was just like calling out songs.
Friends and family
play
show.
This. He's like, play this.
Yeah, dude. That literally was like that. That's one tour practice. That's what it is. It's tour practice.
It was tour practice.
It was an excuse for us to all, cross paths on our tours, hang out, have a great time, and watch each other play, dude. Like I remember James calling out, requesting songs when Odious was on stage, and we'd play them for him,
Yeah,
and songs we were not practicing at all. Yeah.
Actually, I mean, that aspect of that, but like that was a Debbie Downer. But other than the fact that we got to see Deeds play and Decrepit and Odious, and was it Vile? Who was the fourth band?
Yeah,
Vile.
Okay, yeah. It's been a while.
Vile, Decrepit, Odious.
Yeah. Okay. And I mean, we did some stuff with Deeds in the past, so it was always cool to running. It's always cool to do shows like that. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing we do. Like I said, we did. It was Yob, Origin, Orange Goblin. We did a couple shows like just completely weird bills, like maybe, but it was like fucking rock out, and then we get your fucking hyper blast on and rock out again with Orange Goblin. That was a really fun show. So I mean, we just kind of add our own element to every show that we do anyway. And I mean, like, and we played with Dillinger Escape Plan. We played with a lot of hardcore. We did that tour with Sworn Enemy and Dying Fetus.
Basically, the who's who of Relapse roster at that time. You guys sound like you were on a bill with them at one point.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Uphill Battle. We did stuff with Uphill Battle. With Danny's first tour. Maybe they toured before that, but they were pretty young in the game. It was fun. That was James King's first tour.
Okay.
Maybe it's
that was that one show. Actually, the St. Louis show was James King first watching Longstreth play, or no, he was like sitting there watching Longstreth play like the reciprocal or something like that. And he was pointing out. He's like, "Oh, you fucked that up. Oh, you fucked that up." he was like trying to like catch him.
Okay, so that was 2005. I couldn't remember if that was 2000.
That was 2005.
Have you seen James King's son playing drums?
No,
I actually did see the video recently. He's already got he's starting to work on his blaster.
He's already better than I am.
Well, if he picks it up, if he moves as fast as his dad did when he fucking started playing drums, that kid's gonna be a monster
James,
by 7.
How quick did he James learn the drums super quickly, right?
I think 2 years.
Super young. Yes.
Paul Ryan, I gotta say, Cannibal Corpse has their own blast beat. Suffocation has their own blast beat. Origin has the Origin Blast.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
We called it the Origin Blast. We didn't call
And
it the
you
Gravity
invented it.
Blast.
And you invented it on a pen, right? Or a pencil?
No, the original drummer, but yeah, I figured it out, and then I showed it to John.
Okay.
I mean,
So
it was
you're a
totally
fucking
secret.
legend.
It's done by I mean, you kind of missed the beginning, but I started as a drummer. But Dennis Chambers is the guy who did it on a drum fill, and George stole it from him. And then I would here, I would sit there and do this. I can't get the camera angle on it, but I mean, yeah, those guys were legendary. You know, the Mazukowicz blast and the Mike Smith blast, and you know, that stuff was super important. But James King, he was a guitar player kid. Like we used to these things called Shed Fest, and it was like BYOB in a storage shed, and about 200 to 300 people would show up, and we were like, "Yo, kid, the cops, you can drink down the street, but you can't drink here," because cops would just randomly show up, and if any kid had alcohol, the show was over because it was just in a storage shed area. Anyway, like I think Justin Payne from Unmerciful used to skateboard down to those things, and James King. But James was a guitar player, but then I mean, this is going into the pre-Unmerciful, the Anal Maggot days. You know, it's like, I don't know about that name, guys. I don't know about that name. But,
Dan lit up. He's like, wait, there's a pre-Unmerciful band?
Yeah, there was Trails of Decay.
I heard about something about the butt. I was all about it.
Yeah, Trails of Decay and then Anal Maggot.
Anal Maggot, dude. What a sick name.
Oh, man.
Paul's like, I would disagree.
Of all time is Rectal Smegma, but Anal Maggot is right up there.
Ew, dude, rectal smegma, dude. It's like the origins of smegma are not in the butt. So how did they get there?
Have you heard that band? Come on.
Origins of smegma?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have heard them. Good luck crossing the border. What band you guys in?
Oh yeah, dude. How's that? Now let's ask you real quick, Dan. How many times you get confronted at the border because of your name, Suicide Silence? Does that ever get in the way of you getting through?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey, every time it says occupation, I just write magician. Because musician is like the same thing. Who gives a shit?
So basically, it's across the board the same for everybody. If you got a fucked up name, everybody lies.
I'm an entertainer, left or right, so fuck it.
Yeah.
You got to go beat it out real quick.
Joel, what's up, dude?
What's up, man? How's it going, dude? This all came from a text message in the middle of the episode. And Dan's like, I want to join. I'm like,
well, yeah, Dan knew as soon as he woke up.
Harris was like yesterday, so.
We texted this morning. He's like, "You want to hear some new Suicide Silence?" And I was like, "Well, I'm doing a podcast with Paul Ryan today, so I'll have to listen to it after because I want to talk to Paul." And then here he is, dude. Now we got Paul finally, dude. And now,
yeah, we've been trying to get you for a while.
The surprise.
What's your problem, dude?
Whose problem? I'm excited.
What?
I'm just kidding.
All right. Let's reel this back in, boys.
Hey, Paul, let me ask you a question, Paul.
Okay, yes, sir.
What band was better to tour with, Nile or Hate Eternal?
Oh, Hate Eternal.
Yeah,
Hate Eternal. I love Jared and Eric. They're like two fucking big lions, fucking roaring in the parking lot, and I'm just going from the earlier lineups. I mean, like, I've toured with Hate Eternal. You know,
I've seen you at the Pound with Hate Eternal about 5 times.
Yeah, no, we toured a lot with Hate Eternal, and I have really respect Eric's guitar playing and him as a person. I've seen him almost murder someone for throwing. There's footage of it out there somewhere, like in Seattle, where
Maggot or what?
No, it was like in Seattle. This guy, somebody threw. So it was basically Hate Eternal. He's doing the wiki time, You know, like how he does the beginning of the show, and someone throws a water bottle at him, and fucking he takes down his guitar and says, "Who fucking threw that?" And everyone in the crowd goes, "This guy right there." And he's like, "Get up here!" And fucking the dude, oh my god, we're like, "Oh no, he's gonna kill him." You know what I mean? Anyway, he gets him up on stage, and I thought he was gonna deck him, but he just. I can't really remember if he throws him in the crowd or he makes him jump into the pit, and then the crowd just went crazy. But
damn.
But
That's probably
as
better.
far, I mean, Eric's super cool, you know what I mean? But that was a bullshit dick move. You can probably find that somebody throws water or ice on Eric Raton in Seattle, or
Yeah, come
I
on,
thought
guys.
I thought he was going to be like, oh man, if he could get sued if he, you know what I mean? But it is assault, I think, if you throw something at somebody. So
Oh, it is.
I don't
Definitely.
know,
Yeah,
but
If he hit him back, I don't know how that would happen. But I mean, I guess.
yeah, I don't
calling
know,
him-
you know.
That'd be so
Yeah,
funny
it
though
was-
if you called him up and then the guy walks up and he's like, "What, dude?" and then just punches him. That would be fucking.
Yeah, I mean,
hilarious.
that's what I thought was going to happen, and I'm glad it didn't. You know what I mean? I really am. You know, I mean, it was bullshit. They got shit thrown on them, but anyway, the pit went crazy after that. I got everyone riled up. And, you know, it turned out to be a great show at Studio 7. So
Well, on this point, who's the toughest guy in Origin?
the toughest guy, not me. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
The same with me.
But check out those biceps though. You're fucking. You can fuck some people up. You know. Yeah, look at
that.
I would say the vocalist. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, dude, right now.
James Lee. Oh no, not James Lee. The old one.
And the reason why I want to say he's tough because he broke. Remember he broke his finger. Remember when he broke his finger?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that was gross.
And he finished the song and
Dude,
was
that
showing
dog,
it to
man.
everybody. It was literally bent sideways.
Yeah, no, that was in Chicago. That was a good one. He jumped off the stage and his finger was sideways. And I looked over and I was like, that's gonna hurt. And he snapped it back in. And there was screaming, and it was right on this part in Expulsion and Fury. I call the heartbeat part, and it was perfectly. It was like aligned perfectly, like timed like a drummer how it happened. And I just remember I looked over and I was seeing it, and I'm playing the song, and then there was this girl, and she was infatuated with looking at Jason's like looking at his finger, thinking about what to do, and then he just snapped it. And she had this shriek, you know, on her face. And that's the kind of effect that I always wanted Origin to give people live anyway. So it was perfectly aligned with what I always wanted to do musically, is I want people to have that shrieking feel when they hear Origin.
One of the most disgusting things I've ever heard. It was like at some fucking convention or something, and the host was like, "All right, when I count to 3, I want everyone to crack their knuckles at the same time." And there's like probably, I want to say, 1,000 people there, and like it just stole like 1, 2, so just like, the whole crowd like had like this huge crack, and I was like, I'd like turn off the video, dude. It like bummed me out that much.
I mean, like, I don't know if you remember this. I mean, I know Derek Boyer was there, but it was in the late '90s. We played this November Dismember, and they had a gross out contest where, like, if you threw up, I mean, they had they had porn stars and wrestlers back at the old Metal Fest, and like Jasmine St. Clair was there. We played with Danzig and Morbid Angel, Monstrosity, Anal Blast. I want to say Deeds of Flesh was there. But anyway, they had this thing where they do the. Huh?
It's all like a good time, dude.
Yeah. Anyway, they had this thing where they're like, okay, so they had this gross out contest, and basically they're like, here's a pig's eyeball. And if you ate it and threw up, you're disqualified. Anyway, these two dudes, they're like, I mean, it was rough. I mean, they were eating intestines and eyeballs and brains. And I was like, it's going to lead up to one thing. It's going to lead up to one thing someone's going to say no to. And can you guess what it was? What's the one thing nobody, I mean, I won't say nobody. Yep.
Turds?
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to watch that.
Yeah,
I don't think, you got like $1,000 worth of t-shirts and CDs. I was like, I don't think that doesn't qualify for But they used to do that kind of stuff at the Metal Fest, you know.
We had it wasn't a gross out competition, but the most I've ever been grossed out. And by the way, I followed abuse, and there was pig entrails all over the stage after. That's not even the one. And we already probably told this story, but since you already brought up a show in Eureka, and it's the same tour, I'm just going to bring it up. So we show up at this. It was like a vet hall or something up there, right?
Yep.
And these two chicks later on in the night, they show up and they have like 4 to 6 hooks into the meat of their shoulders, dude. Like literally,
was it like on stage? Was it on stage or in the crowd?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was actually on the other side. It was the opposite side of the room, like basically where people were walking in.
That's the only part to look at, Anthony.
Yeah, I just like to watch chicks.
Brother.
Watch chicks put fucking gigantic fish hooks in their shoulders.
I like it with the T.
So what they were doing though was they were doing the suspension thing, and watching the flesh be pulled from the bone and then the body be lifted, and then what they were doing was like literally pushing each other, so they'd be like swinging around.
Yeah,
these
it's
humans.
Like negative. It's negative Viagra.
Oh shit, we got another person.
Oh, Joseph,
what up, dude?
What
the professor.
Yeah, guys.
Getting random drop-ins the whole time.
Oh, dude, if you're in the Taco Bell drive-thru, listen to Paul.
Paul, this is Joseph. Paul, this is Joseph. What up?
I just we did a festival with where they did the hooks.
Oh shit! We got merch now. Holy fuck!
A little sneak peek.
Oh shit!
Nice.
A little sneak peek. That's why the professor has not been on the episode. He's handling that for us right now.
We're crossing the fucking border back into America right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude,
what's your band name?
Talking about that.
What's your band name?
Dudes are trying to
It's Last of Lucy.
right now.
Hey,
Last
from one discourse to the other, right?
Jeez, look at that guy. That guy looks chapped on you, dude. Is this a live border crossing? A live border crossing?
Live border crossing from one discourse to the
other. Yeah, I can hear you. Do the sideways thing again. Yep, we're live again.
All right.
Jesus, I don't know what the fuck that was about. Sorry, guys.
Sideways.
Yeah.
That was weird. I think I'm gonna blame Joseph. I think even though he doesn't have administrative control over shit, I think he might have he was like saying something and it just went out, like the whole stream ended. I was like, what the fuck was that? But it's fun.
Sorry.
Technical. Be able to splice it back together for the.
I'm gonna blame Paul actually.
Dang it! Blame it on Paul. We used to do blame it on God as blame it on Paul Ryan. So,
dude, it was yeah. All right, so I don't even know where we were. I don't even know what we were talking about. Is DK coming back too?
I'll send it to him in a second.
Either way,
we went out with some wide places. Yeah.
Yeah.
I only got a little bit more time, guys. I'm sorry.
Cool.
It's all good. You're good.
Got to start practicing.
Totally.
For sure.
Dude. So then let's.
Well, we were talking about the earlier eras of we were probably up to 2005.
Yeah. So
I guess is where we kind of ended. If you're talking about that
deep in there
time era.
Yeah, if we're gonna stay.
I mean, it's your guys' call. I mean.
I
okay,
mean,
so Echoes.
That's usually how we like it. So.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I've kind of.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say with Echoes,
there's a delay.
It was there was a lot of anticipation for that album. Obviously, it's the follower of Triple I, which is a fucking death metal masterpiece, dude. And so a lot of anticipation for that record. And I wish Dan was here to say this. We'll talk about it maybe when he comes back or if he comes back. But we had the pleasure of coming to your apartment and actually getting a listening session for that album before it came out. And I just remember sitting like crisscross applesauce in front of your stereo on your living room, or well, we could call it a living room.
Yeah.
But that was such a great experience for me, dude. Like literally, the feeling of being, when did Echoes come out? What year?
2005.
2007?
2005.
All right. So 2005. I'm
Spring
literally
of 2005.
Couple years out of high school, I'm not even 21 yet, and or maybe I turned 21 that year. either way, dude, like being like so balls deep in death metal and technical death metal and knowing, you know, everything that we knew at that time, it was such a pleasure and such a I felt so cool being at Paul Ryan's house or listening to the Echoes before it came out, dude. And I just was like, this is gonna blow everybody's socks off when I heard it the first time. And it's still today, I was listening to it today. It's like probably one of my favorite top 3 for Origin for me.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, dude.
I was in a dark place at that time. I just moved. I was in a relationship and broke up, and I think you guys had just came to the apartment. I just kind of moved into that apartment, and like like after breaking up and splitting up everything, I think I had a futon, a weight bench, a stereo, and some guitar amps, and my T-shirt collection and CDs. That's about all I had, if I remember correctly, at that point.
yeah. So that was around the time that you had just moved to the Bay, then.
No, I'd already been there for a couple
figured
years.
You were there for a little
but
bit.
I was in the city, and I, like I said, I was like, okay, this is separation, I wrote that album out during a breakup, you know what I mean, and I had moved in, basically needed to get away, when the relationship's over, it's over, and it was like I needed to get away, and it was a good vibe bringing people over, you know what I mean, so I just. Like check this shit out.
Yeah, dude. And
I was fucking angry.
and you could tell, dude, that they listened to Triple I, even though there's anger, there's darkness, but there is this transition that happened from that album. And now that you're reminding me of what you were going through at that time, it totally makes sense, and it shines through on that album for sure. It's one of the darkest.
I think it's a pretty mean record for an Origin's discography. It's flashy, but it's aggressive flashy. There's nothing really pretty on it. It's just super aggressive album. I said it's actually maybe fucking start to finish, you know what I mean, just straight up fucking death grinding it first note to the last, there's not I mean, like the layer elements with like the different dynamics and maybe some interludes, there's nothing like that really there. Yeah, I mean, it's super aggressive.
It basically grabs a hold of you and doesn't let go until it's done.
Yeah, that was the intention.
Yeah. So that's cool. So then, all right. So, and obviously things are snowballing because you already got the 2 full lengths out at that time, which, I mean, dude, we can go back and talk about it later, but those albums are just as important to me too. But so going into the Echoes.
We had a lineup change. James King joined. Fast forwarding a little bit, but like Clinton and I jammed with before. He played bass on the first EP, but me and him had jammed together for years off and on. And he stepped in. Jeremy left, and obviously Jeremy had great success. You got to play with Cannibal Corpse and all that, but Origin, was like we started to see the next level of things, like after the second album, we were definitely on the upswing. But Origin was starting to, we had done a lot of touring, and we were becoming a very familiar name in the underground scene. And Echoes did a lot with that. Unfortunately, that lineup didn't last long because Clinton and James wanted to focus on Unmerciful, and that's understanding. I mean, that was their baby, you know what I mean? But, Clinton came up with the album title. Mike Flores, did a whole bunch on that album. He wrote a song, Cloning Stillborn. It was more collaborative effort, and I mean, it's a very dark, aggressive record, I feel. And then it was a little different, a little different playing. That's one of the cool things about Origin is like I kind of let people be their own person and how they write. You know what I mean? I don't change that much. I'll request certain things, but James was not as much intricate stuff, like as far as the pattern stuff, but as far as like the straight
speed,
flood and the kicks and blasting. You know what I mean? Yeah,
his sustainability.
So it was a different album because of James King, and I think it came out great. And he was super young at that point, and I only played drums a couple years, so I think he was 21, and he'd only been playing drums for 3 to 4 years tops.
That's
So
crazy, bro.
Jesus.
We've talked about that before. I think I asked him at the pound one time. I'm like, dude, so how'd you start? Kind of like, the same thing that I ask everybody when they come on the show. And he's just like, dude, my girlfriend bought me a kit 2 years ago, and here I am. I'm just like, what the fuck, dude?
yeah,
How does that happen, dude? How does
I
that
mean,
happen?
he, like I said, he was the kid I would see at the. He reminded me of myself. Like the young kid. I was the young kid at one point. Now I'm the old grind pappy, but it's like I was that kid that was asking all the questions and paying attention, and I would take whatever I saw and try to learn it and try to incorporate it into my own thing. And he did it. You know what I mean? Like, and he made his own thing, and then he got to do great things afterwards and with Unmerciful. You know what I mean? So, um,
Didn't he also
so
do
that,
like a Insidious Decrepancy tour or Viral Load tour or something like
yeah,
that?
he did some other stuff too. I mean, um, he did something Viral Load or Insidious Decrepancy. He did some other stuff. I guess I can't remember.
Some Sean Whitaker
Um,
stuff.
Yeah.
and then well, he was in. I mean, like then he went to this thing called the Booze Hounds, and it was with
Oh, Booze
B
Hounds.
from
I remember that.
who's now with Phil Ensemble, but who was with. And they were all he just get wasted and play music. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Uh,
Yeah.
so I mean, I had a different mentality or approach to what I want to do. You know what I mean? But like some people, it's not long game for them. Like Origin is like the soundtrack of my death metal life. You know what I mean? So like it's, I'm fortunate that people even listen to it. You know what I mean?
totally, dude.
Are excited
you're
about
fortunate enough
it.
to continue putting out, having output. I mean, you guys continue slaying with records, dude, and I love that.
Thanks. I mean, like Echoes was our third full length. I mean, it really like, and then on the fourth album, I mean, I'm gonna kind of fast forward a little bit through these, like
Yeah.
Antithesis. Like, I mean, we, huge press on that one, and like we were on tour a lot for that album. Uh, that was probably our flashiest album, I think. I don't know how else to explain it.
Well,
would
I was gonna say there's always
Time,
an
like
origin
everyone was
foundation. There's
trying
always
to.
the origin foundation, but each album you guys are adding elements that make it newer and fresher and different in a way, but still holding that essence, together with each one
Yeah,
as
well,
well.
that's my goal is try and I hope that fans of the band from every era can like an album. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's gonna be pick the favorites, and that's fine. You know what I mean? I just don't want it to be a huge disappointment. You know what I mean? Like, like there's certain bands that put out 4 great albums and then haven't put out a great one for decades, but they're
What do
still
you think that is? What do you think that
revered.
is? Like, why do you think that happened? I think it might be because they're like super excited in the beginning, and then maybe they get like kind of comfortable, and then like I feel like it's so common with so many bands. They like start off super hot. Everyone's like, oh, their first 4 albums are my favorite. People say that all the time about like so many bands. I feel like maybe they're just like, well, forced to put out an album or something. They're like, not. They don't have the same drive that they had when they were younger, or they don't have the same like goal or whatever, and they kind of just are putting out albums to put them out.
Well, and then some people, like if they get that one hit, if they water it down a little, then they don't have to work. And I don't mind working. I enjoy what I do. I'm basically barely at Guitar Center anymore for guitar repair, and I work at DNA Lounge as bar staff, and those are
Fuck
great
yeah.
places. And I get the yin and yang of what I do, but I also have the integrity of trying to keep my music the same without compromising
Totally.
what I do, and that was always more important to me. There's like music once it's recorded is forever and you can't change it. Once it's out there, it's out there. And like I don't want it, like I mean, I hope that the music reflects who I am, even though I'm not, it's a positive release of negative energy for me, and
Yeah.
it helps
Totally.
me when I'm in a dark place.
Mhm.
Like
Yep.
I am not, like we already established, I don't sit around and watch blood and gut movies, or I'm not
Right.
over here doing seances worshiping the devil.
Mhm.
I'm a
Yep.
pretty happy spirited guy, but like I am at peace when I'm playing the guitar in a different way than
Totally.
like uh, if something's going bad, or let's just say this: if I don't get to my guitar, it seems that I'm like for a couple days I'm in a more negative mood, and then I get to my guitar, I'm like, oh man, that's what it was. I just wanted to be in that mindset of just playing music. You know what I mean?
Totally.
I think it
you know,
totally is a therapy in a sense for us, and that's why so many death metal dudes are actually chill and happy guys. You know, I know so many people who play the most extreme music, but you have a conversation with them, they're just fucking super cool dudes, you know, and that's what it is. We're getting that. It's a positive release of negative energy, dude. I love that saying right there,
no.
dude.
It really helped me out because I probably would have been in jail or prison or dead. You know what I mean? And like, a lot, like before I had any success, like, you know, since we kind of went through the eras of it, and the underground stuff. I mean, like, I felt somewhat embarrassed about my choices, I'm just working at a Mexican restaurant with this dream of being a death metal musician or something, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
What kind of shit is that? I told you don't, no one listens to that shit, but, I still believed in myself. I believed that there was something there, and like, it does give some gratification that people can appreciate your art or music, especially even at the most extreme ends of the universe. Because like when I'm playing a show and like I look down and maybe the sickest part or like the darkest part I'm getting ready to play or of what I think of Origin, and like, oh, this is going to be the part that gets in. And I look down and I see 500 people with smiles on their face.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, oh yeah, that's that part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
it's like, so I mean, I think it's are the sounds we still have that morbid vision or seeking of something dark there, but I feel like it also puts us in some kind of sanctuary of some sort. I mean,
Totally.
sadly, I mean, just last week I unfortunately read about a shooting at a death metal show, and I was like,
Yeah.
I know that's like ironic, but it's also like, I wonder if the person that shot those people had any affiliation with death metal at all, because I
No,
really,
sure they didn't.
That's what pissed me off about that whole story too. Is like it's like it got kind of like a headline as like, oh, death metal show shooting, like it's like death metal, some negative place where there's shootings, you know what I mean? And I randomly typed in like concert shootings just randomly to see, and there's been like fucking way worse ones than, like between now and then, but they wanted to brand it as death metal is the reason why that the shootings are. It's like, no, dude, that's not like, no one at death metal shows. I've never seen a gun at a death metal show.
That couldn't be more of a terrible representation of what happens at death metal shows. I have actually been to a show where somebody did try and bring a gun in, but that dude,
probably the Pound.
It was the Pound one, yeah. And but again, that was the only time, and that dude was, that guy was just a tag along, and he really wasn't into the show,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just so curious about the person who did that, because I feel like they weren't a part of the scene. I mean, I don't really, it's not like like the late 80s, early 90s rap scene where there was battles, like literally. I feel like there's like a brotherhood. There's a competition. Like, man, we want to bring, like when we play a Dying Fetus, it's like they know we're gonna bring it. We know we're gonna bring it. We're gonna make the best show possible, and there's no winner. If we're playing great and they're playing great, then everyone out in the show is gonna have a great time.
Totally.
You know what I mean? So it's, I mean, I just use it as an example, but that's kind of, like once you get on tour and you got to do the routine every day and you try to make the changeovers fast, and it's a mutual respect of the bands.
Totally.
Like we all win as well as the fans do. So I mean, that's, I don't know how I got to a death metal shooting, but I just don't believe that. I don't believe the person that pulled that trigger was like, I could be wrong, but I don't believe they were a part of the death metal community.
I think he got away. Like, I think he just maybe shot in the venue and just like ran away or something. I don't think it was like, I don't think it was a part of a dude that like knew what bands were playing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. That's good. I mean, I hope so. I hope they catch him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
terrible. That's
so-
terrible news. I mean,
Okay,
after Dimebag and shit, though, it's like, you know, we're all kind of like weirded out by that
I-
whole thing, and like, you know, it's like we
yeah,
don't need any more of that
I
happening.
played that club. I mean, it's
Yeah.
gone now, but I played that club. I'm
Yep.
like, you know, I
There's, like,
stood
bullet
right
holes,
there,
right?
and, you know, I'm like, well, you could stand where it was marked, and you know, you were like, man, this is where it all went down. And like, you know, I mean, when I go, I want it to be lights out like that. You know what I mean? But it's like, still, that's just. First of all, his brother had to see that shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and he was obviously never was the same. You know what I mean? And he
No,
never did the
definitely not.
Pantera thing again. And you know, there's some animosity there. You know what I mean? Uh, that I mean, and people were crazy. You know what I mean? And
People
that's
are
the
crazy.
thing. I had music. I had music to vent my channel that like, and that's why I'm the person I am today. I mean,
And
so
unfortunately, not everybody
thankfully,
has that, you know. So they end up
yeah,
fucking letting all that stuff build up, and then they do some stupid shit like that, you know.
you
And
know,
but again, like you said, that dude definitely. All right, let's not even talk about this anymore. I'm like,
yeah,
it got
yeah.
after talking about the
Deep.
darkness of echoes of decimation. Now we're actually getting dark. All right, let's get light again. So yeah, we were at an antithesis. We can fast forward as much as you can, however much longer you want to go, Paul. We're here for
Yeah,
you.
so I mean, Antithesis was really great, but then we struggled through some lineup stuff, and basically was hell bent on making another album, you know, and basically on Entity, it was just me, John, and Mike, and we made that album, the three of us. But the great aspect of it is that John was talking about this guy that's in Africa in school, and he was like, "Yo, man, this guy Jason." Kaiser, he used to be in Skinless, so I was like, oh yeah, I saw that dude play once on the Deicide tour, and he came out with a Pope hat and a gas mask, and I was like, that's pretty fucking cool, and he fucking won me
Yeah.
over, because Skinless was pretty notorious. They were a wrestling band, and they did body
Yeah.
slams in the early
Yep.
2000s, and
Yep.
wrestled their fan base, and
Totally.
I
Dude.
didn't know at the time that his brother was the bass player, but anyway, um, we entered Jason, and he's just been a conductor of fun. You know what I mean? Like he's an excellent entertainer as well as a death metal vocalist. But he comes up with these ideas that makes the shows like a lot of fun. You know, we do chicken fight wall of death, we do silent wall of death, we do tsunami wall of death.
Silent
put,
wall of death. What? How does
Yeah,
that
no
work?
sound, and then like we do all. Dude, we had like
That's good.
okay, it was a big guy with a girl on the shoulder, with a little guy with a big guy on the shoulder, and then the two-man wall of death. You know, the chicken fight wall of death. That we're banned from the Roxy for doing the tsunami wall of death, where they jumped off the stage into the
Oh
crowd.
my
man.
god.
That we were
Jesus.
playing with Exodus. Fucking, they shut us down. But I mean, like we've done like the wheel where like it's like drink a beer, pick a song, show us your boobs, we show you our boobs. You know what I mean? Like the spinner board,
Yeah,
like
spin the
the
wheel.
spinning
Spin the
wheel.
wheel.
I mean, I can't even remember all the different fun things we have done over the years.
See?
You know, just trying to
And that's
create.
because Jason came in and started adding those elements.
Yeah, absolutely. He's like I said, he's an excellent entertainer, a showman. You know, like he's just
He's the whole
brings
package, dude.
yeah, he brings a lot of fun to the show, and he's always trying to make it different. Like, I mean, there's no routine. I mean, we've done the black metal wall of death versus we tour with some black metal bands. We've done the black metal versus death metal wall of death. We've done the old school, like when we tour with
So good.
metalcore bands, we're like bang hangers and tats with plugs versus beer bellies and receding hairlines. You know what I mean? Spread them out. You know what I mean? You
That's
know,
fucking so
I
good,
mean,
dude.
our last Bay Area show might have been the most brutal ever. We were in Oakland, and it was San Francisco versus Oakland,
Oh,
and like
shit.
they were like stomping their feet like bulls, like
It is, dude.
breath coming out of the nostrils. You know, like I mean, it was like people were in like 3-point stance. Like I mean, it was brutal. I was like, oh man,
Damn.
I'm afraid to watch this one. It was
Yeah.
so yeah. I mean, we played the whiskey, and it was like the head of securities last night. So Jason's like got him to crowd surf to the bar and back, and
Hell yeah.
got him a shot. Jason's stage dive. I mean, like he's initiated the pillow fight on the boat both times. He
Mhm.
crowd surfed on a mattress from one of the rooms, front to back. I don't even know. Like, there's so
Yeah.
many. He's been in the band a decade now, and so many crazy things. Like, forget. What I mean, how many different elements of the band. So,
Totally.
well, I will say this: that he joined right after Entity was recorded, and we did um, Omnipresent, and then Unparalleled Universe, and then the same lineup again for the first time in our history on Chaosmos with John Longstreth, Mike Boris, Jason Kaiser, and me. And I'm really excited about this album. I think it's uh, where we are today as a band. I feel like we all have like the what's the correct word? Symbiosis. Yeah, there
There
you
you
go.
go.
Uh, uh, because the time we have spent
The decrepit
together.
birth word.
Hey,
What's that decrepit word?
symbiosis.
No, I know.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
joking.
But well, I like that. I like that a lot actually. But
Totally.
we had that continuality of us playing together, and like, I mean, it's always a little bit of a struggle to make an origin album because of the aspects of how we all live in different places. But
Yep.
I really feel like this. I'm really happy with it. I feel like it's catchy. It sounds like Origin. It's very. Uh, I won't say it's that flashy, but man, my right arm hurts on some of these.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
That's
I'm
when you
doing a
know.
lot of the picking pattern stuff on some of
Yeah.
these. I'm like, ooh, that's digging in there deep.
Real quick with the picking pattern, because you and Mike Gilbert have the same picking. So that like where you go over and do the
Oh,
Jedi grind is what they call. I mean, it's Jedi grinds in the
yeah.
fucking chat. Murray's in the chat, by the way. Murray's
Oh,
fucking
what's up,
yeah,
M Dog?
M dog. But he does it
Yeah,
too. He used to do it too. Like it's like an over the wrist kind of like picking technique you guys do.
yeah. I
Like where
learned
did
it
that
from
come from?
Eddie Van Halen on
Oh,
Live
that's right.
Without
He
a
does
Bed.
that. Yeah, he totally does that.
But
Yeah.
he only does it like on the high string, like on Eruption.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
But
Yep.
so like I had this problem with I would do this thing. It's kind of hard, like with bouncing my wrist or whatever, like
Yeah.
that on certain. And so I already knew how to do that kind of, but when I got a carpal tunnel on my arm, and they gave me this stuff called Vioxx, which made old people kill themselves, so they took it off the market. But
Whoa.
worked well for my arm, and
Not for old
but
people.
that's when I started. That's when I started. Yeah, it made people go crazy or something. But it helped. So I started using that technique more and more. And then like that's another thing with the riff arps. Throwing that arpeggio in there was like a break from the picking. Even though it sounded like I was doing crazy stuff, it was like a break from just my right arm just going
Not having to
as
go
fast as I could.
yeah.
But yeah, and then I still do. I intermingle with all of them, but it was just another form of technique. And Mike Gilbert and Murray both do it great. You kind of got this weird kind of bend thing in your
Yeah.
arm, but you can just flood it. And yeah,
Totally.
I I I never called it anything. But Murray would call it the Jedi. You do the Jedi grind, And I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
that's a great name for it. So,
Yeah.
and then like. Then I got a little bit like, oh, well, arpeggios to break, so I started speed picking the arpeggios when I was playing them, like, like on an aftermath. I'm doing like speed picking the notes, when I'm
Oh,
instead of
going
just
down the
doing,
arpeggio. Okay, yeah.
so
Totally.
so there, like I was like, I mean, I don't sit. I don't think I'm not sitting. I'm not. I'm a. I call it piano tar, where they do the tapping. I do some tapping, but I'm still more right-handed picking pattern dominated. I mean, I'm
Totally.
not that. I don't consider myself that flashy. I got a little bit of flash, but I'm more a death metal guitar player at the end of the day,
I think the
Yeah.
comparatively to
flashiest thing
what's
you
out there
do.
now.
I would say the flashiest thing that when I think of Paul Ryan, the flashiest thing I think is when you're doing like a crazy riff and you do like your Jaguar, like like you're a fucking high,
Oh,
your high like
Yeah.
vocals while you're
the
doing
the
it.
rabbit pterodactyl. Well,
Exactly.
that's what it started being called. We just started coming out as rabbit pterodactyl in the last 10 years or so.
Oh
So
yeah.
someone said pterodactyl, or I don't know how it became, but then it became the rabbit pterodactyl. So
Yeah.
There's that one. There's that one section at the end of reciprocal. Is it
Yeah. I think
reciprocal?
it's reciprocal. Yeah. Yeah.
And where it's just like, and you're just nonstop, dude. Just like, you're
Yeah.
just like, fuck, dude.
uh,
Where does he
there's
breathe?
some there's some parts on this album. It's like, God, I hope he does it. I hope for the love of all that exists, that I don't have to do vocals on this. There's some parts, and I was like, oh man, he made me do vocals on that part. Fuck. So there's a couple parts. Oh man, because
Yeah.
I tried to. It's still Origin. There's some parts in there that are pretty tricky. I won't
Yeah.
deny. And then the separation of the vocal, doing the vocal and the guitar, it does take. It's it's difficult, and there's a couple of those on this album. So I hope.
Fuck yeah.
I I'm excited about it. So
Oh
I'm
yeah.
excited about the next video. It's a catchy one. It's a super catchy one. But
Oh
Did you
yeah.
guys
uh,
already do? Did you already record the video, or are you getting ready to?
yeah, we recorded about 3 weeks ago.
Sick.
So in New York, and with Dave Brodsky, who did the Finite video, and he's super professional, super cool, and you got to play the song like 80 times, and I was
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
sick. Oh my God, I was so sick. Oh, like literally, like
Damn.
the day before, the next day, I just stayed in a hotel room and slept.
I gotta piss real quick. Sorry.
Go for it.
Okay, that's
So
cool. I only got a little bit of time left.
yeah, when he comes back, dude, we'll wrap it up. But yeah, so you were super sick during the video shoot, but you got through it after
Hmm
80 takes or so. Fuck.
Yeah.
Because they got to get every angle and every,
Yeah, they gotta get, like, even if it's like not even concentrating on me, it looks weird if I was in a spot and it's air.
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean? But there are certain angles that it was like, okay, the camera's on drums, or but play anyway. And um, videos are, it's weird because you're playing like you're playing in front of like 1,000 people, but you're just playing like you were in your bedroom in 8th grade. Like,
yeah.
man, one day.
I've never experienced what it is to like do an actual music video. Just there's live footage of Odious and there's live footage of Severed, but it's never like a whole thing that we've ever done. Like, oh, we're shooting a music video today. So hopefully
It's
in the future that'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, the thing is, you sit there and you play the track over like a loudspeaker, and you just rock out. You know what I mean? And you're trying
Yeah.
to make sure your fingers are in the right place, because you're playing the song, but you're not playing through an amp. You know
Yeah,
what I
it's like
mean?
it's not really. I mean, it's not kind of like lip singing because you're actually playing the song,
Yeah,
But lip
it's
singing
just
would be like,
weird.
no, yeah,
I mean, like, it's just weird when you have like super nice camera in your face, like, oh my God, like, I don't like it. I don't like this.
trying not to look at it, act like it's not there, but it's just right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, it's right there in your face, like right there, and like that's like, get more of the other guys. Get more of the other guys. Focus
Totally.
on this drummer and singer. I don't mind doing live shit, but the video stuff just feels weird when you're just sitting there and there's a camera in front of your face, and you're, like I said, you're playing the guitar, but it's still not. It's like air guitar without, you're playing to the track over a loudspeaker, and then the
Yeah.
drums have to be, it has to be loud, which is good because it makes it so it feels right, but it's just weird. And Johnny hits hard, so you're hearing a lot of the la 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 the whole time. You know, like
Mhm.
80 takes of that. So
Right.
I don't know when it's gonna be released. I'm sure it'll be out before the album comes out.
So
I'm
that'll be
really
like the second single that you guys put out
yeah.
or whatever.
It's the album title track. It's called Chaos Most. It's super like uh, it's it's my to what I feel is my catchiest song I've ever written,
Nice.
and I kind of took some elements of what I feel is I don't know maybe what's something I feel that's missing sometimes and what's um I mean I'm sure there's some people like oh fucking Origins fucking watered it down they're fucking done so but it's like
Fuck that.
okay well, you'll see. I mean, like, I feel like the album speaks out for itself. Like I said, the album's 45 minutes long. You know what I mean? So, fucking,
That's a
Yeah.
lot of origin material right
that's a
there,
lot of
dude.
notes. You know what I mean?
Yes, it
But,
is.
One thing I
and
wanted to bring up, I wanted to actually like bring the story because we talked about it really quick, Paul, but just to close things out. But I mean, just like I'm gonna do a little fucking butt kissing right now. But as far as Origin helping like, you helping bands out, you doing like the fucking guy that helps bands with gear and stuff like that. One story that literally I wouldn't be in Odious Mortem if it wasn't for you. It was because you playing Aptos Club in Aptos, and I was 20 years old, and I was like, well, Origin's playing in fucking App. I'm in Aptos right now. This is like this is like my spot. Like it's a random little subsect of Santa Cruz, a little suburb of Santa Cruz, whatever you call it. And I heard they're like Origin's playing the Aptos Club, and I was like, the Aptos Club? Like Origin's playing there? I'm like, well, I have to at least be there. Like I'm not. It's 21 and over. I couldn't get in, but I was like, I have to at least be present for this. Like I
Yeah.
want to say I was there at the time. And I went outside and was just sitting there, and I was like smoking cigarettes back then, and I was just smoking cigarettes and just listening to the bands and stuff on like the door, like right next to the door, like putting my ear like by it and stuff. And what's it called? David Siskin and Josh Seitman were outside, and they were both 20 years old as well. And I just start talking with them, and we just start talking about music and stuff, and we're like kind of we're doing like the tech death thing where we're going like, what bands do you know, dude? He's all
yeah.
and their band was they're all, dude, we got fucking Deprecated, dude. You know about Deprecated, motherfucker? Like, and then I
Yeah,
was all, I have
they
this new band, Spawn of
Spawn of
Possession.
Possession.
Have you heard this band, Spawn of Possession? And they're like, and then Josh is like, yeah, they're okay. I don't know. Like, Josh is like one of our best friends now, but back then he was just all like, he's worked at Streetlight Music. He was the one that bought all the metal. He brought all the music into the record store. So like he like knew pretty much everything, and he's like, yeah, they're all right. And then like, and then they're like, we're in a technical death metal band. Here's our demo. And I was sitting there listening to you guys for a while, and I was like, after about 30 minutes, I'm like, fuck, dude, I can't see anything. No one's out here. It's just me. I'm like, I'm gonna go listen to this album that they gave me, and I went put the album in it was the Odious demo. Put the Odious demo in the CD player in my green Saturn SL2.
Oh shit.
And I started listening to it, and I'm like, what the fuck? These guys are from Santa Cruz. Like, I was like, drove right to Carrie's house. I was like, I like knocked on his window. I'm like, dude, this band's from Santa Cruz. We have to quit. And we're just like sitting there going like we're doing this move like fuck,
Yeah,
like because they were like it was not only technical, but it was bringing something kind of new to the scene a little bit, like a psychedelic kind of style to it. And I was like, dude, they're so much better than us. Like what. We have to do like power metal now. Like we're done. And no offense
I
to power
love
metal
that
people.
story though, dude, because I love
Yeah.
things that link up like that. Like if Origin
No,
didn't
totally.
play in Aptos, you may have never came across David.
Yeah,
We
I might be like working for like a tech, like .com, like sitting in the fucking cubicle, like I mean, which I'm kind of doing now, but I would have done like a different version of that. You know what I mean? Like not gone the music route, and I probably have hearing in my fucking right ear, fucking Paul. I'm deaf.
Damn it. Well, like I said, it is a community. Like for me, it started out with tape trading and
Yep.
VHS trading, and then show trading, and I think when I announced the tour, it's like first of all, Origin in 25 years that's never went 6 months without a show, let alone 23
Damn.
months. You know what I mean?
Jesus.
Or maybe when the tour starts, 24 months, or maybe no, it'd be 26 months. Wow.
Damn.
And so, I mean, like, I haven't had jitters like this in some time, but you know, I did stay. I was like, I'll be happy to see some friends and
Totally.
you know that I haven't seen in a long time. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Totally,
the
dude.
longest, you know, I didn't get to see my mom for a couple of years, let
Me
alone my
too.
friends. You know what I mean? So it's like one
Yep.
of those things where there is a sense of community. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's like the familiars. It doesn't matter if I'm in Ohio or you know, but I've done 150 tours now, maybe and maybe more. I don't
Jesus.
know, but you know, there's people that tour more in Origin, but I don't know if they do it the same way we do either. But
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
but but when we, you know, like there's a, you know, like I've seen guys grow up. Dan Kinney, you know, what I mean, he's doing great now in Suicide Silence. I mean, Naveen, he went on to be in Animals as Leaders, and he's doing great now. You know, all kinds of I've seen watch you guys grow up. You know what I mean? The Carnivorous and the Odious, and you know, so it's cool, you know, and like, I mean, I still feel like Origin has room to grow, oddly, some. I mean, we never even toured with like Cannibal Corpse or, you know what I mean? We played with just about everybody, but like that's one that I feel like we have to check off the list. I'm hoping on this album.
Yeah. What the fuck? That's surprising. That
Uh,
actually is really surprising, especially because
yeah,
Jeremy was in Cannibal, right? For like a
yeah, I
tour or
mean,
two. Yeah.
yeah, for like a year, but
Yeah.
it just hasn't lined up, and I feel like, I mean, John plays with Hate Eternal, Eric's now on Cannibal. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's just like there's some, we're still underground, you know, in the grand scheme of it. I mean, for as many tours as we've done and how many things, I mean, I feel like we're commonly known, but it's like, it's weird. Like, I'll go to certain shows and I'll be overwhelmed with people knowing who I am. Then I'll go to a little different show and I'm like, um, it's like, wow, there's a whole market that they, I haven't really tapped into. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Well,
So I
that's a good
Yeah.
feeling
feel
to
like
have this far into your career, dude. You still feel like you have shit that needs
yeah,
to get done. And yeah, dude, I love hearing that.
That's where
yeah.
successful people come from, or people are like, all right, there's more we can do. There's more. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
not
I
comfortable,
feel
just
like
like,
our entire catalog, you know, stands for itself for what it is, and I feel like Chaosmos will add another element to that. I'm excited for people to hear it. I'm excited to play it live. You know,
When's the
there's always
release
been.
date?
It's
Do you have one
June
yet?
3rd.
Oh yeah, yeah. You
June
already mentioned that. Okay.
3rd. Yeah, it's okay. I've got to throw it out there. I think they're gonna
Yeah.
release the video soon. I think I just got, if not the final version, the final version. I mean, for the single Chaosmos, which I I feel like it's got to be released soon because we're going on tour and they want to, you know, push the album, and we don't actually get the album physical copies until the 25th. Yay!
hey,
But once we get the physical copies, we'll be selling them on tour. Um,
So it's gonna
so I
release while
just
you guys are already on the road, right?
yeah. So we're kind of
Okay.
hyping it, pre-hyping it. Like I said again with Misery Index, Looking and Wake, and then by the time that tour is over, I'm pretty sure we'll have physical copies with the Deliterus, Tombs, Abysmal Dawn, and Origin for the central to west coast through Canada and back down to our hometown.
what's
So
your
we're
Bay
out
Area
for
show?
about.
Which
We're playing at
DNA?
it's June's. No, we're not. We're playing June
Interesting.
2nd, Thursday, June 2nd. Um,
Oh
yeah,
fuck! I can't make it. I'm going to my mom's flying. Oh my god, this is gonna be embarrassing, but I don't care. I'm flying my mom out because as a kid, I mean, I like the Depeche Modes and all those kind of like styles. Obviously, you saw me at that one
she
kind of
passed
gothy
away.
show. She passed away, and
Great band.
Tears for Fears was playing, and my mom got me into Tears for Fears when I was a little kid. And
Awesome.
I'm flying her out. And we're going to see Shoreline same day, Thursday, June 3rd or 2nd, something like that. And God
Well,
damn it.
we'll be around. We're gonna. There's more coming.
Okay.
There'll be a European tour announcement here soon, and then there's supposed to be another North American run after that.
Oh yeah.
And then
Cool. Okay,
there's
good. Good.
some other tour announcements. I mean, we're all kind of waiting a little bit. The whole Ukraine Russia thing, You know,
Yeah.
put some like COVID and then this. It's like, come on, man. Like, didn't we learn enough? We're one world here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
Uh,
crazy. Like right after COVID too, it's just all like war. It's like, God damn it! Like, cause you like, chill
yeah,
out a little bit. Like,
yeah. So, yeah. So, enjoy Tears for Fears. I love a couple of their songs with it. You know, like after playing a death metal show, listening to death metal bands, I'm usually the late night driver. I'm like, 80s tunes are just easily
Totally.
digested, easily disposed, but it's something that I can listen to. I would listen to death metal in the day. I can't do it after playing a show with
Oh
10
yeah,
death metal
burnt.
bands and then driving 6 hours in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like, so, you know, like my 80s playlist is pretty huge. Like, it's funny because I despised that music when I was playing guitar, but it was just like, now it's like, oh, it's so just easy listening. I could think about other things or,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
whatever.
It's
But
got a different vibe to it, totally.
we'll be back. Don't worry. You know, we don't just do one tour and album. We're gonna be
Okay.
out there for a while.
I might even go to
so.
fucking like LA or something to see you guys if you guys are going down there.
Yeah, we're playing LA the day before, or is it
Day before?
Modesto the day before? We're playing, or
That's closer, way closer.
no,
Yeah.
not Modesto. Hold on, let me look
Hold
it
on,
up.
I have it
It's
literally on the which tour is that? Is that this tour? No, it's this tour. It's this one.
not.
June. You're playing Portland, San Francisco, so Fresno.
Fresno.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's closer than
What's that
LA,
about?
so that's good.
Yeah, that's like 3 or 4 hours. I think.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
play-
I'll try to
play-
check that out and just take the week off maybe and try to do a little thing because fuck yeah, Origin like I said earlier, you guys are just known as like the blue collar hardworking band, and like you guys do like basically have earned everything. Like, you guys have earned it the hard way, like hitting the road, doing the flyers, doing all like you guys have always done like the old school style of shit, and like a day off. Well, we're gonna fucking play a show. You know what I mean? Like,
wait, I'm working on that.
yeah. That was that's your guys', like I said earlier, it's your lore. Like you guys fucking are hardworking. You guys don't
Yeah.
stop. You guys have a day off. What the fuck's a day off? A day off's a show. Fuck you guys.
Yeah,
We're
we
gonna play a
played
show.
house parties in the middle of a tour before. You know,
Yeah.
I played barns, played arenas, basements, storage sheds. I played at Chuck E. Cheese before. Mosh pit in the ball pit. Watch out, man. That was in Virginia. I'm not kidding. It really happened.
That would be
fucking-
amazing,
Oh my
bro, to have
God.
a giant ball pit, dude. That sounds like
Oh,
something that would
dude.
happen at a fucking Origin show now.
Dude, we did it. I'm not gonna lie. It was pulled up, and I was like, this says this is their address. And basically, what it was is the father of the kid was in the music, and he wasn't a musician, but his father was a businessman. And so he would get there. It's like, here's all the cheese and pepperoni pizza you want. Here's your putt costs and your tokens and your this and that, you know. And then we got the setup, and then about 7 o'clock they kicked all the kids out, and there was a stage, and people were literally in the ball pit moshing the Origin.
That's awesome, dude.
Oh my God.
That reminds me of that, like, what's up, Denny's? What's
Oh,
up? fucking
yeah,
man?
yeah.
Oh yeah. So I mean, the band that's really breaking room right now is a local band called Hemorrhage. With
Oh yeah,
SF.
totally. I've posted
And
about this.
John
Yeah, go
and
for it.
them.
Yeah.
John and them have been really. I mean, I saw it at the Cradle of Filth show last year. I think that was the first one where they infiltrated the show, and it was like,
Yeah.
it was cool because those guys have been doing it for a while, and like they're getting a lot of hype and recognition. So I'm happy for them.
What a
But-
fucking cool idea, though, man. It's like so
Yeah.
basically, Hemorrhage they pull up in a little like what's like an old transporter, like not a bus. What would you call it? Like a little. It's half a bus. I don't know what you call it. But,
yeah.
they pull up and they just have a sick setup, like music, like all their amps and stuff are set up in the bus. They have like doors open. They just pull up in front of a venue after a show and just play a show. And fucking and they have like
Yep.
little QR codes on their
20
thing
minutes.
with merch in there. Yeah, it's smart as fuck. I'm like,
Smartest shit.
damn, like they don't have to deal with promoters. They don't have to deal. They show up and they have a huge crowd outside. They literally like every time I left. Last time I saw them was I saw Opeth and Mastodon, and they were right outside, and there was a humongous. I couldn't even get through the crowd to like get to the car. I had to like go in the street to go around because there were so many fucking people. Like, there's a mosh pit in the fucking on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is so smart, man. This is like, I mean, I like those kind of like new ideas where people are like, you know what? Fuck it. We don't want to. We'll just show up and play. Like, we don't care. You know, like fucking.
Yeah. I mean, that
amazing.
first show at Great Old Field with Picasso, I was like, just give them 20 minutes, man. They'll be done in 5 more minutes, right? You know,
Yeah.
You know, I was trying to be the public relations Paul Ryan there for a minute, you know. But
PR, dude.
PR.
Yeah, hey,
Paul Ryan, public relations.
I'm the shredder. I'm the shredder of the house. Yeah, I'm bringing shredded care to America.
Oh yeah.
Well, cool.
But
dude. I don't
anyway,
wanna keep
we've done
you
a
don't
lot
wanna
of great
keep too
things.
much, dude. So as long as you want,
Yeah, I unfortunately, I gotta wrap it up. Unfortunately, I gotta wrap it up soon. I need to. I bought a burrito before, and I'm so glad I didn't
right.
eat
Was
it.
it a 7-layer?
Like,
Was it a 7-layer?
no, I went to this 24-hour Mexican spot called Ponchos here, and it's pretty massive. And if I was hungry then. I'm glad I didn't eat it because I would have had food coma. But I gotta eat, and then we're gonna start jamming. But I really appreciate you guys having me on the podcast, and I love you guys. And
love you too, bro.
Love you too, man.
Odium. Hopefully, we get to share the stage again someday. I don't know if Aptos closed. I don't know what's going down in Aptos anymore. But,
Not much here.
I mean, there's the Catalyst in Santa Cruz, I think.
Catalyst, yeah, dude. Real quick, the Catalyst. You're talking about Naveen and stuff. It was Archspire and Entheos came here, and it was probably the biggest death metal show in Santa Cruz history. It was like sold out main room because they went from the Joel had him. Joel Haston had him in the side room, sold out in like 2 weeks. They moved him to the main room, and that sold out. It was like fucking like 1,000.
Nice.
Like it was probably 700-800 people, but for a death metal show in Santa Cruz, it was fucking huge. So now,
dude.
I mean, it's the post-COVID people that missed shows too a lot. I could tell.
Yeah.
But still, like now that happened, I was so happy. I was like, Joel, now you have to fucking book other Joel. You have to book so many fucking like more death metal shows here. Like come bring shit to Santa Cruz. Like skip Sacramento and SF and just come here and make them come here because I have to go there all the time. I've done it my whole life. I've had to drive 2 hours, like figure out like how to drive home like kind of buzzed to like 2 hours.
Well, they also do the they have clauses. I don't know if you know about that, like the
the distance clause,
day or 90-mile clause.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why we did those Aptos shows because it's like we couldn't play anywhere else, and I was like, I'm not taking a day off. If I can play a show. You know what I mean. But
how'd you find Aptos, dude? That's insane to me. I still don't understand the Aptos thing.
I mean, it had guitar, will grind. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's like,
and the shows were good.
I can't remember. I mean, like I said, Soul Thunder. I want to say maybe had something.
Yeah.
Where were they based out of?
I think there's SF. It's what's it called? Nate from Ontogeny was in that playing bass for a while. Yeah, in that band.
Yeah. But I feel like I don't know, but like I don't know how that all linked together. But basically, I was just networking, and it was like I got a show instead of a day off, and I beat the radius clause. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing anymore. Radius clause. I mean, like unfortunately, there's going and playing these Origins had success. We have radius clauses, and then they have merge cuts and all that stuff when you start.
The merch matching, like we toured with, they did a little small run with the Carcass, and they're like, you have to charge as much as Carcass charges for their shirts, and they charge $40 for a shirt, and so all of a sudden Decrepit shirts are 40, and we're like, we were undercutting under the table, but we were like, because they're going to take a percentage off that, so like you can't like not do that price because they're going to take a piece of that.
The cut,
so it's
yeah.
So the fake book, the real book.
Yeah, with the fake, but you sneak merch in. You have to sneak in the backpack. Yep. You have to count it. Be like smart about it. Like just like when we outsold Carcass that night. It was like that's like one of those shows that like was the best show of my life probably. It's, literally like Carcass is there and like everyone's wearing Decrepit shirts. I'm like, dude, fucking got him.
Yeah, awesome. Unfortunately, that's the nature of the business that someone's got to get their hand in the pile. But anyway, guys, I really appreciate it. I love you guys. And
come out and see Origin.
We're gonna do a quick outro, and we're good to go. But thanks for showing up, man. I know we've been trying for a long time. I'm glad We finally got you on. I'm glad you're about to fucking hit the road. And album's coming out. All perfect timing. And
thanks for
you know,
Casey
obviously-
being on real quick. Thanks
Yeah,
to DK,
and
the
Dan
surprise
Kenny, yeah.
DK. That's awesome. Dan
Oh, yeah.
Kenny, he's going to be out on tour soon. Go see his shit. Thank you,
And-
Joseph,
Yeah, with
for ending the
Carnifex.
stream. Thank you, Joseph, for ending the stream and fucking us up.
I'm rating Troy from Severed Savior.
Hey, you guys got T-shirts though. You guys got you got to
Yeah, no, it's
advertise
worth it. It's worth it. It's worth
Hell
it.
yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Well, Paul, again, thank you so much, dude. Album's coming out June 3rd. Go out and listen to that single when the video
See you
drops.
on the road. We'll be just about everywhere. We always try to hit as many countries as we can, states, whatever. City, state, country. Origin will be there grinding for you. So thank you
Yeah,
so
dude.
much.
Fuck
This
yeah.
is just another
guy
element
grind-
of it that we have to do.
This
So
guy
thank you so
grinds
much for
harder
having
in
me.
multiple ways, dude.
Fuck yeah,
He
man.
grinds harder than most y'all multiple ways. Take a page out of this man's book if you want to fucking
Oh, thank you
Stay with
guys.
it,
You
dude.
guys are
yeah.
sweethearts.
dude.
No, you too,
Well,
man.
Paul, I love you to death, dude. Thank you so much. You're always welcome to come back on again, dude. And yeah, have a great
Have
rest
a
of your
good tour,
Sunday,
man.
guys.
Have a good tour.
Okay, guys. Thank you so much. I gotta get. All right. Love all
All right,
you.
love
Thanks
you,
for
buddy.
whoever tuned in. All right.
Love
Oh,
you
yeah,
too,
buddy.
brother.
I don't
out,
even know
buddy.
how to hang up.
It's fine.
All right,
dude.
here we go. Bam.
We're out.